So there I was, spending my first night on the mountain, thinking how lovely camping trip would be. Then a tiger appeared. Not some cute kitty, but a horse-sized murder cat. That roar shook the whole mountain like some giant alarm. Every single animal froze, playing dead. Wang Wei and Sunken leapt up like they were on springs. Me, I was already scrambling inside the snow hut, grabbing my bow, my gun, and strapping an axe to my belt. Like some cheap action hero. Run, I screamed, and bless them, they actually followed without asking. But then Wang Wei got pretty confused because I was running directly away from the beast. Aren't we supposed to catch it? He asked. Yeah, buddy. Normally, yes. But this tiger was not waiting to be caught. It was coming to eat us like delivery food. See, we lit that campfire earlier like idiots, basically ringing the dinner bell. Normal beasts fear fire, but this monster, it used our fire like a GPS. It already tasted humans. 100 soldiers who came up this mountain. That monster snacked on who knows how many of them. Honestly, it wanted more of us. Now 3 fresh targets just showed up with a campfire. Climb, I yelled, pointing directly at the tallest tree I could find. We scrambled up 15 meters, through some pretty deep, freezing cold snow, legs burning, lungs screaming. And believe me, perfect timing too. 2 more steps and that striped nightmare would have tackled us like a linebacker. We sat up there gasping like broken engines. Then, complete silence. The beast vanished. Wang Wei whispered. Where did it go? I quickly shushed him. Eyes closed. Focus. Listen. Scratch, scratch. Right behind me. I spun around, swinging my axe, and came face to face with the largest tiger head I had ever, staring right at me like I was a chicken nugget. This sneaky furball had climbed the tree from the other side. I swung with everything. Missed. The tiger dodged like it already knew my moves. My brain only had this single thought. Dead. But then, a sudden slam. Wang Wei brought his heavy machete right down hard on the beast's head. The absolute madman stood up on that high branch, throwing away all his balance and risking a fatal fall just to land that strike. This heavy blade that could quite easily split a human head into just bounced right off. Honestly, how thick is this creature's skull? The giant beast roared and leapt down. Wang Wei almost followed right after it. Gravity does not care about heroic moments. Sunken and I grabbed his coat just in time. Then, the terrifying roaring started below us. 3 massive roars sounded so incredibly loud that we all had to cover our ears immediately. The tiger sat there with glowing red eyes, fresh blood dripping from its forehead, looking at us as if it had all night. This monster was over 3.5 meters long, its paw prints completely covered my size 44 footprints. Its massive jaw could swallow a human head like a grape. I finally understood why that massive bear stayed away from the third peak. Bear versus tiger is usually a 50-50 match, not against this nightmare. This was a true final boss tiger. It started climbing again. Throw the bombs, I yelled. We all had homemade beast skin pouches packed with black powder. Wang Wei and Sunken lit theirs, throwing them immediately. Amateurs. I held onto my explosive, counting quietly in my head. 1, 2, 3, then dropped it right on the climbing murder kitty. 3 explosions went off at once, and just like that, our one simple tiger hunt turned into a desperate struggle, clinging to branches and tossing explosives. This was absolutely pure survival horror on night 1. My ears were basically useless now after 3 loud blasts had gone off together. All I could hear was Wang Wei groaning like as if sound itself slapped him. Snow, dirt, and burning gunpowder filled our noses like a dumpster firework blast. We just sat in that high tree for what felt like absolute eternity, waiting for the smoke to clear before looking down. Nothing. No tiger. Not even a single hair. Just deep craters instead of ground. Where did it go? Wang Wei asked, looking around like he lost his keys. But I knew. My homemade pipe bombs were decent, but let us be real. They were not military grade, just angry little firecrackers. We are heading down to find it, I said. Sunken's legs started shaking like crazy. He asked if I was serious. Watch me climb down. First, grab my axe and track the blood trail. It was easy. This beast was leaking heavily like a broken faucet. And there it was, the big yellow idiot stumbling through the deep snow, breathing like an old man, blood dripping everywhere. When the monster saw us coming, it actually tried to flee. The exact tiger that hunted us 5 minutes ago was now terrified of us. Look how things changed. Wang Wei got excited, yelling to throw more bombs. I shook my head. That was just one lucky shot. It is 40 meters away and still moving. You would just waste good explosives. Time for my secret weapon. I pulled the heavy fire gun from my pack. Wang Wei and Sun Can, watch their faces now. They never saw me light a fuse. Like dark magic. Then bang. A hit. 50 steps away, hitting a horse-sized target. I never miss. The tiger stumbled sideways and collapsed. Wang Wei started celebrating, like we hit the massive jackpot. But then, this absolute maniac of a beast stood right back up. Half its skull was showing, one eye completely gone. Its other eye was so bloody red you couldn't even see the eyeball, with an arrow sticking out of its neck. And it slowly turned around to face us. No more running. This giant cat chose pure violence, climbing up onto a boulder, struggling, barely able to drag its body up, roaring at us in full defiance. Then it leapt right down and charged straight at me, limping, wheezing, bleeding everywhere, but still showing absolutely zero fear in those ruined eyes. Wang Wei and Songan froze solid like statues. I just sighed and started firing my arrows. Second hit, third hit, two, every single one burying deep enough to show bone. I deliberately avoided the back and belly because tiger skin is pretty expensive and I'm not about to ruin my paycheck. This tiger didn't stop, didn't scream, didn't even flinch, just kept staring right at me and charging like some furry Terminator. It got within 3 meters before my arrow finally went through the eye socket. It dropped cold. 3 meters. Can you imagine if this beast was healthy? I'd be at you tore right now. I put my hands together and gave it a quick prayer. Respect. This was the toughest opponent I'd ever faced. A true warrior in a fur coat. But respect alone doesn't pay the bills. And I've got a wife, a daughter, and a baby on the way who need a better life. All right, stop standing there like statues. Get your knives out. Wang Wei poked it, asking how heavy this thing was. Songan guessed 300 or 400 pounds, same as the brown bear. But this tiger was way bigger. That bear was basically a compact car, but this tiger was like a full-size SUV. Luckily, they'd already butchered a bear with me before, so they knew the whole process. We carved up everything right there on the spot, taking every single part except the blood, bones, meat, skin, and organs. Tiger, a walking gold mine, basically. We snuck back into the village under darkness, like 3 pretty suspicious, blood-covered Santas lugging sacks of tiger parts through the back alleys. Remember, I warned them that nobody finds out about this. Tomorrow morning, just us 3, heading straight to town, early as possible. They nodded, and just like that, 3 guys drenched in tiger blood melted into the night, each carrying parts of the most terrifying beast on Jade Dragon Mountain. Our first night on the mountain, survived a tiger, bombed a tiger, shot one, arrowed a beast, and butchered it. Pretty solid, actually, for a casual camping trip. Next morning, we marched straight to Old Mansion's mansion with our tiger loot. He was lounging in his fancy hall sipping tea, while his granddaughter Tai and Exxon waited on him like some servant. Real charming. Grandpa, this guy, shouting at her about family wealth, demanding she marry some guy just to take their name. Honestly, what a toxic guy. His butler walked in. Sir, 3 hunters are here to see you. Old Tyan looked totally confused. He had asked me for a tiger whip a week back, but clearly expected me to show up begging for help. The second he saw my face, he started little speech. If you boys are having some trouble, you need to figure things out yourselves. Do not run to me. I slammed my sack upside down. A massive tiger head rolled across his expensive floor, like the absolute most terrifying bowling ball. Get ready for this. Here is your beast. Killed it yesterday. Brought the receipt. Every single person in that room, Old Tyan, Exxon, the butler, the guards, all went weak in their knees. These folks had never seen a tiger in their lives. No zoos in ancient China. To these people, tigers were basically dragons. You heard the rumors, but never actually saw one in person. Yet right now, massive tiger head is rolling right toward They're expensive shoes. Now, old Tun's hands are shaking. Is this actually real? No, I made it from soap. Yes, it's real. I show him the tiger whip, the crucial ingredient for his special manhood restoring soup his own doctor ordered. Suddenly, old Tun's eyes light up. Like a little kid, he instantly grabs it, screaming at his men to rush it to Dr. Lu right away. Then, he grabs my shoulder, acting pretty friendly. Outstanding work. Young man, tell me, would you marry into my prestigious household? I blinked. Excuse me. Tian Din is standing right nearby, and blushes completely red. I must admit, from this close, she looks pretty stunning. Wealthy clans definitely hide their gorgeous daughters inside. Some historical truths never change over time. Still, I shake my head immediately. I already have a wife. Let us just settle the bill. Old Tun is not finished. What a waste. No military rank, no official degree, yet you defeated both a bear and tiger. A real hero. Tell you what, when my family line continues, I will grant you my gorgeous granddaughter as a concubine. Do we have a deal? Wang and Sunken are literally vibrating with insane excitement. A wealthy granddaughter as a concubine. Honestly, to them that was like hitting the ultimate ancient lottery. But my spider senses are heavily tingling. Old Tun, are you secretly trying to avoid paying, or cannot your huge estate afford 500 silver taels? Old Tun sucks in a breath. Smart guys are pretty tough to trick. Well, with this active war effort, most of our funds went directly to the front. I have only 300 in cash right now. What if I pay 200 now and write a promissory note for the balance? I smile. Sure, if it is from I trust you, he said, waving us away like mindless servants. Too rich snobs, ordinary guys like me are walking, useful tools, nothing more. But get this, he completely scammed us. He only handed me 200 and Tunzen's name, not his own. A useless paper, worth less than toilet paper, signed by a penniless granddaughter. Wang Wei almost completely lost his mind outside. Cheating, he promised 500. Sonkin was cursing up a massive storm. His family has warehouses packed with grain, pay us in rice, pay us in dirt, anything but this worthless slip with a teenage girl's signature. Wang Wei actually reached for his weapons, threatening to throw those beasts' skin tubes straight through his front door. I smacked him hard. Are you trying to die? Today, he has 20 armed guards inside. You blow his place up, our entire families become hunted fugitives living in mountain caves. The law finds out we have explosives, and we rot in dark dungeons forever. Think that finally shut them up, but they were still absolutely fuming as we walked away. I just chuckled, a cold, dark laugh, the kind that promises real, painful payback soon. Let this slide, not a chance in hell. Even if the emperor himself tried to scam me, I would find a way to collect. Nobody rips me off and gets away. Nobody cheats Chu Feng and walks. 200 silver for a horse-sized tiger. That old fool is going to learn a lesson. The deadliest beast on Jade Dragon Mountain was never the tiger, it is the man who slaughtered it. After getting scammed by old Tian, I did absolutely nothing. For 10 whole days, I acted like the most boring guy alive, just an ordinary patrol guard, wandering around the quiet peaks of the mountain, with my beasts like a regular dog walker. Speaking of pets, I started bringing my Bin Bin the dog and Huaichue the snow. My patrols had a leopard cub now. Bin Bin's 4 legs meant he kept running way ahead of me. Like, hurry up, you slow human. Huahua was pretty light. She actually walked right on top of the frozen snow like some sort of magic cat. The villagers just stared at us like we were some kind of traveling circus. A dog. Sure, that's normal. But a giant cat following a guy around like a little kitten, people lost their minds. I barely did any hunting these days. Honestly, between the bear money and the tiger cash, even with the scammed rate, I had enough to retire from killing for profit for a while. But I told Wang Wei and Sunken the ultimate golden rule: act broke, change absolutely nothing, do not buy fancy things, do not suddenly start eating meat 3 times a day. Nothing screams rob me louder than some poor guy who's suddenly rich now. Meanwhile, the outside world was going completely crazy. The government demanded grain again. A war kicked off because the Enemy nation decided to launch a surprise attack right before New Year. Talk about the world's worst holiday surprise ever. All the soldiers rushed straight back to the front lines, and the government started squeezing everyone dry for food. You won't believe who stepped up as hero citizen number one. Old Man Tyan donated 5,000 stones of grain. That is basically 5,000 silver taels. No joke. When Wang Wei and Sunken heard this, they almost had simultaneous heart attacks. No cash, he said. He had 5,000 stones is nothing. Honestly, Sunken was furious. I seriously thought he would bite his teeth off. 2 whole days passed by. Then one quiet evening, I called the boys over. Time for payback. And man, their eyes lit up like fireworks. Why wait so long? They asked. I had to explain it like teaching literal toddlers. If we strike the very day we sold the tiger, who gets blamed? The guards would suspect us, the guys who just had a business deal with them, and stormed out furious. We might as well leave a signed confession right at the door. 10 days pass, 0 connections, 0 motives, and absolutely no evidence. We are basically 3 simple villagers who have not seen the Tyan family in over a week. Beautiful. I waited till my wife and Meow Meow were sound asleep, then slipped out like a total ninja. Wang Wei and Sunken were already standing outside, looking like a couple of kids on Christmas Eve, but their presents were straight up explosives. They knew a secret tunnel into town that totally bypassed the curfew. Super handy for legal activities, which this definitely was not. We each packed a beast skin, bombs, plus firewood, coal, and some firewood we had been secretly hoarding for days. We did not go to the Tyan mansion. Instead, we snuck behind it to the grain warehouse. Now get this, the old guy robbed us of 300 taels, but he did hand over 200. He was not bad enough to murder. We just wanted to send a message. Plus, since he openly bragged that his storage was empty after giving away 5,000 stones, well, burning an empty building is basically just a super aggressive bonfire. Just property damage, not murder. Call it revenge with a conscience. I ran the whole setup like some movie director. Put the firewood right here, charcoal over there for a longer burn. Do not light it yet, you idiots. If you start the fire before throwing bombs, the blast will just blow out the flames. Oil goes last. We set everything perfectly around the building. 3 fuses lit, 3 bombs thrown, and 3 guys hauling tail through the freezing snow. Boom, just look at it light up the sky right in the middle of a snowstorm. It looked absolutely stunning, like the most illegal fireworks show ever. We watched from just outside town as that warehouse burned like a hellish bonfire. Wong squinted. Didn't he say empty? Why is it burning this big? Sun shrugged. Who knows? Stop sightseeing. Let's go. I reminded them both to hide every remaining bomb at home. Deep. Tell nobody, not your wife, not your mother, not your dog. We snuck back to our houses, crawled into bed, blankets still pretty warm, like I never left. Perfect crime. I closed my eyes, feeling extremely satisfied. Then, morning came with heavy pounding on my door. Get up, hurry. It was our village chief, Dudahai. The county magistrate and constables are in our village, sleepy to wide awake. Awake in half a second. My brain started racing. Did they find out? Run. But my wife and kids are here. Can't exactly drag them into mountains. I followed Dudahai with my heart doing absolute gymnastics, planning escape routes in my head. We got to his house. Constable Liao Xiang was sitting there with a map, nice and warm on the heated bed. Seeing me, he told the officer that this was the famous Jade Dragon Mountain Ranger. You've seen his skills. With his help, this job gets twice as easy. Plot twist. They weren't here for the warehouse. They weren't here to arrest me. They needed my help with something completely unrelated. I almost laughed out loud. 10 minutes of pure panic, rehearsing my prison speech, and these guys just wanted to hire me. Note to self. Next time I commit arson, maybe wait at least 2 days before panicking at every single knock. So there I was, sitting across from the county constable and the magistrate's assistant, the 2 men who could easily throw me in prison, trying to look completely innocent while my brain screamed. I literally did the crime they are investigating. They showed me a detailed tactical map of the town. Can you read this? Lucy asked, looking down. I read everything. Every single gate, every guard post, every single weak point. If I wanted to invade, this map was basically a massive cheat code. But could I say that? No way. A random mountain patrol guy reading classified military maps. That is how you get locked in a room? Nope. I cannot understand a single thing. I lied, shaking my head like a clueless puppy. Liao Xiang just laughed. Totally normal. If you could read it, that would be pretty suspicious. Yeah, buddy. You have no clue. Then Liao dropped this. Hey, did you see that massive fire in town last night? My heart did a wild backflip. Nope. Went to bed early. Didn't see a thing. Well, someone burned old mansions, warehouse, all 5,000 stones of grain are completely gone. And we already have a witness who saw the culprit. A witness? I completely froze. But outside, calm as a cucumber. I even faked some total shock. 5,000 stones, but didn't old Tyan already shipped that grain to the front lines? Both officers looked at each other and just burst out laughing. He claimed he donated it, but the grain never actually left. It was all still sitting right there. Wait, hold on a second. Wait, wasn't that warehouse empty? That lying old geezer told everyone he donated 5,000 stones, but kept it all for himself. And I just burned the whole thing. 5,000 stones of grain that could have fed my whole village for years. I accidentally destroyed a literal fortune because some rich guy lied about being generous. This is the single most expensive mistake of my life, and I cannot even be mad about it publicly. So, who is the culprit? I asked, trying to sound casual, not like a criminal hunting for clues. Some guy from Peach Village, the chief's second son from the Guel family. Already confirmed. Wait, what? Some random outsider is actually taking the blame for my own arson. Apparently, someone saw this kid sneaking around suspiciously that night. He bolted when they chased him, basically a signed confession in old China. But now, things get totally crazy. They say this scapegoat kid did way worse, slaughtering 3 people in the Tyan household and taking several captives. During his escape, he ran straight into Dragon Mountain. Look, I burned only a warehouse. I never killed anybody or kidnapped anyone. Either kid was committing crimes that night. Awful timing. Indeed, or someone is pinning everything directly on him. Either way, not my problem. Why are you telling me this? I asked. We really need you to climb mountain and catch him. None of our guards know the area, and besides, they cannot handle the freezing snow. You are the only choice. Just classic. The whole government fails to do its job, so they dump it on the unpaid ranger. Do I look like a one-man police department? I put on my most innocent face. Oh, you gentlemen highly overestimate me. I am just a simple patrol guard. Inspecting trees, catching outlaws is way above my pay grade. Lucy's eyes turned sharp. You are just a simple guard who single-handedly killed 3 enemy soldiers. Purely lucky. A total fluke. I waved my hands around, brushing it off. They grew silent. These guys weren't stupid. They knew exactly what I was after. Some real compensation. Nobody risks their life for nothing. Then Liao dropped. He asks how I would like living in town. My ears perked up like Ben hearing treats. He laid it out. Catch him and they would give me land in town, a house, and an official job working for the government. My entire family could move out of the village, getting legitimate town residence with actual, real farmland. Massive. I had wanted this move for ages, but doing it out of nowhere would draw eyes, attract attention. Why does this broke mountain hunter suddenly have cash for a townhouse? But if the government itself rewards me with this move, it is the perfect cover. Nobody questions anything. I just smiled broadly. Well, since you put it like that, as the officially hired mountain ranger, catching criminals is just part of my job description. I am happy to help. They smiled. I grinned. Seriously, check this out. We were sitting exactly 3 feet away from the very criminal they wanted. Then, Lu added one crucial detail about this kid. But warning though, he has a fire gun. I kept my expression completely blank. Fire gun, what is that? Liao then pointed at the defense map. Look, this is a fire gun. He pointed at a sketch of the Identical gun hidden right under my mattress. I just nodded very thoughtfully, like I was learning about these weapons for the very first time in my innocent life. Innocent life, the sheer audacity of my poker face, seriously, it deserves a whole new award. Here I am, the real culprit, the bomb maker, literally being hired to catch myself for my own crime, and actually getting paid with a house and career upgrade. Sometimes crime fails, but if you simply wait 10 days and let someone else take the fall, it pays incredibly well. I stared at the defense map, acting completely fascinated by this detailed sketch of a fire gun, a weapon I literally own and used just yesterday to shoot a wild tiger. Wow, so this fire weapon, what does it do? Don't worry about the details. Just know it's incredibly fast, and you cannot dodge it. If someone points it at you, run. Epic advice. I'll keep that in mind while mine stays under my bed. Honestly, these two officials were so happy to dump this massive job on me. They willingly answered every single question. They even shared some classified military info too. The front lines were looking pretty bad, and the enemy could actually reach our town soon. They carried this defense map everywhere because they might need it any day. Then they left, basically skipping. Problem solved. Let the mountain hunter handle it. Village chief. Duda looked pretty worried. Why'd they push this onto you? Because they're lazy. They offered me amazing conditions just to make it my headache instead of theirs. So you agreed? Sure, I agreed. But saying yes and actually doing it are two totally different things. I win, but something they mentioned. But get this, the enemy might attack the town, suddenly relocating my family. There didn't seem so wise. When armies invade, they strike busy towns. They never bother with random middle of nowhere villages right next to giant mountains. Our village is pretty much invisible, zero strategic value, no real reason to come here. Moving to town could actually be far less safe. I returned home to discuss it with my wife. Shia Shah looked so much healthier lately, eating well and gaining weight in the right spots, and most importantly, not feeling stressed about food anymore. With new year coming and grain in storage, she had this quiet confidence I'd never seen before. Bimbin rushed over to greet me, barking like crazy. That pup was growing fast, almost full grown now. Wawatha. Our lazy snow leopard was lounging on the firewood shed, channeling her late mother's vibe. Royalty runs deep in this family. I asked Xiao Sha if she wanted to move to town. I expected her to think, maybe, weigh the pros and cons, or maybe, share concerns. She did not even blink. Why, it is pretty bad there. She tried arguing that we cannot buy anything here. It's a half-day walk to town. Plus, there is nothing here. But we have catch now, a huge house with servants. But she looked at me, dead serious. If cities fall, the wealthy get killed first, and I do not want someone serving me. She explained properly. Back in her old village, news came daily about towns constantly getting conquered, and soldiers massacring people, even eating them. But villages have real community. Sister Wang teaches me silkworm farming. The village chief always helps us out. Our neighbors take our side in fights. That's great. Why would I leave? And get this, she added, something so sweet, it almost hurt. She knows I have reasons, which are always right. If you want to leave, I'll follow. This woman, I don't deserve her at all. Before I teared up, a raspy voice yelled from outside. Xiao Sha, your folks are back again. Jiao Yuo Chang, Xiaoxi's uncle, the exact same guy who treated her like garbage before I showed up. He stood at our door with a bag of random junk, nails, hose, fencing, and wait, is that saltpeter? My eyes went wide instantly. That stuff is a key ingredient for explosives. But I kept my mouth shut and let Xiao Sha handle it. His wife, Wang Keopen, stood behind him, completely silent and still. Even getting close, smart girl, she knows Zisha is no longer a pushover. So what do you actually want to get for this? Zisha asked, her voice ice cold, staring at her own uncle like some complete stranger, trying to sell her fake watches. Just some food, whatever you can spare, he muttered with a nervous laugh. Zisha headed straight to the shed and returned with a heavy bag. This is all your junk is worth. Take it or leave it. He snatched the bag felt the heavy weight, and beamed with joy. We will definitely be back when we find more things. Sure. See you, uncle. Once they left, I got curious. What did you trade them? Just some rough rice, she casually said. But we only had exactly 2 pounds of it left. Yep, the ones Benben and Hua were chewing on earlier. There was practically no meat left. They could not even bite them through them anymore. I was saving them for when the animals got bigger, but since Uncle wanted stuff, I stood there processing this. My wife literally traded old dog leftovers to her uncle, bones that our own puppy rejected, scraps they did not want. Leopard could not even be bothered with. And yet, that man walked away happy. I stared at Zisha, and she looked right back at me with the most innocent face ever. Honestly, this woman is pretty terrifying, and I love her more every day. Remember those discarded bones she gave her, uncle, the ones our own puppy rejected? Yeah, those sparked the absolute most ridiculous drama ever witnessed, and I was not even there. Wait till you hear what happened next. Later, Uncle Jiayong sprinted straight home, clutching that bag like he hit the jackpot. Neighbors in Stream Village had been mocking him for weeks. Oh look, went begging at your niece's house again. Get anything? Did not think so. They had clowning on their whole family ever since they found out I kicked Zijiao's deadbeat father out when he came crawling, begging. The whole village thought we would cut them off, so when Uncle Jiao marched past them holding a heavy bag, his mother, Wang Zopin, that old drama queen herself, turned and sneered, "What is wrong? You blind, can't see what my son is carrying?" It was sweet vindication for about 5 minutes, because then Uncle Jiao got home to his wife, and trust me, his wife is, how do I even describe her? Imagine if a professional wrestler married a honey badger and their kid grew up angry. This woman's arms are thicker than Joe's head. She slaps him around regularly. The poor man lives in constant fear of a concussion. She ripped the bag open, seeing those 2 pounds of rough rice, pocketing it instantly like a magician, then threw the frozen bones on the ground. She yelled, "Is this what you brought back? Frozen bones? I thought you were getting something actually valuable, but bone marrow, the good stuff is inside the bones." Jiao tried to explain. Then Zijiao's father Jiao Yoshi showed up. This walking hangover heard there was food involved and basically teleported right over. He saw the bones on the ground, asking where the rice is. Mom said there were 2 pounds of rice. The wife did not even blink. Rice? What rice? I didn't see any rice at all. She literally just took it. Can you believe her take it? But this woman has the absolute audacity of a politician and the fists of a heavy boxer who is going to argue. Wang Zopin started losing her mind. It was right there, 2 pounds. That is my daughter's food for my son Jia Yoshi. Your daughter? Does she even know you exist? You went twice and got absolutely nothing. My husband is the one who got this stuff. Without him, you would be eating snow. Jiao Yoshi tried to get physical. Bad move. Years of heavy drinking have totally hollowed this guy out. His body has the structural integrity of some wet cardboard. His wife slapped him just once, and he spun around like a broken compass. Then Wang Chan unleashed her ultimate ability, screaming in public. "Neighbors, come look at this. The daughter-in-law is beating her own mother-in-law. Come see this injustice." The wife quickly countered with her own ultimate ability, total counter, screaming. She threw herself right onto the ground, rolling around and wailing. "Mother-in-law is lying. We brought back frozen bones and now she's claiming there was rice. How can anyone be so incredibly shameless?" The entire neighborhood quickly gathered around. Nobody helped them. Nobody took sides. They just watched and enjoyed the whole show, because the Zhao family is like stepping in dog poop. Everyone knows that getting involved will just make you stink, too. But let's check back on my peaceful, beautiful, drama-free Jade Dragon village. Xia stared at a pot of meat soup and sighed, "I should have kept a couple of those bones." Meow Meow has never even tasted bone soup. She was feeling quite guilty about giving away dog bones to her uncle's family. Let me repeat, she gave them leftovers that our puppy couldn't even chew. And now she felt bad because our daughter missed out on dog rejected bone soup. I bit into my steamed bread, grinning. Bone soup? That's nothing special. Next time, I'll hunt a wild boar and cook you both a real soup. Life was pretty good, warm house, hot food, beautiful wife, and cute daughter, loyal dog, and lazy leopard on the roof. Perfect evening, right? But then the chief started frantically banging his emergency gong. Outside fast, loud, and panicked. My chopsticks froze mid-bite. That sound only means one thing: something bad just had happened in our village. Frowning, I downed my food and headed straight for the door, because apparently Chuang never gets to finish any meal in peace, not once. I was literally taking a bite of my steamed bread when our village chief started banging that emergency gong like the entire world was ending. Widow Wang got kidnapped. Well, there goes my dinner. Turns out some thug named Guan, the brother of that guy I killed a while back, and the same guy the law blamed for my warehouse arson, snatched Widow Wang right from her yard while she was using the outhouse at night. Her young son saw the whole thing. Poor kid had just recovered from his nasty injuries to walk, and now he's watching his mother get dragged off by criminals. And here is the hilarious part, guys. Remember, guards told me this morning to catch that glowing guy up on the mountain. I fully planned to ignore them, just pretend I tried, then collect my gold. Classic. But then this idiot snatched someone right from my village, right under my own nose. Look, buddy, I was going to let you take the blame for my crimes and completely ignore you. All you had to do was slip away quietly. Instead, you dared to grab my people. Now it's deeply personal. Widow Wang had been helping Xia Sha with basically everything, teaching her skills and looking after her. She is a good woman, 32, and raised her son alone after her husband passed. Kept her life together through sheer willpower. But get this, she looked attractive enough that Guan spotted her while running through our village and figured he would just take her too. Truly a classy move from him. I geared up. Bow. Arrows, fire gun, axe, the full tactical murder kit. Wang Wei was already practically bouncing when I stepped outside. We should climb that legendary Jade Dragon Mountain. Just a patrol squad. Move. We aren't starting anything. Shut up. Then he stumbles out with a machete, barely able to stand, begging us to let him join. Kid, you can barely even walk. If we run into trouble, who do we save? Do we rescue you, or your mother? Save her. So I slapped him across the face. Sometimes teenagers need a factory reset. Are you actually trying to get us killed? Your mom says save you, you'll say save her. We'll be standing there with 3 people arguing about who to rescue while the bad guys escape. You coming along does nothing except give us another major problem. Go home. The chief and his son wanted to join too. Nope. Can't have more people finding out about my fire gun and homemade bombs. Having 3 people know is already too many. Just as we leave, footsteps echo loud. Xia Sha appears in the dark, breathing heavily, holding Bin Bin's leash. Take Bin Bin with you, she says. I couldn't quite see her face, but those worried eyes glowed like moons. She didn't want me to leave, but she knew I had to. Instead of crying, she brought me back up. This woman, honestly, is a genius. Let's go. 3 men and 1 dog heading up the mountain tonight. Sounds like the setup for a rescue mission or a total horror movie. Tracking them is pretty easy. Fresh footprints left in the deep snow. With the bad guys this way sign. Wang Wei starts counting footprints. 6 sets of footprints. That's a lot of people. Sun enrolls his eyes. It's 5 people. Genius. They kidnapped Widow Wang. She's walking. 2. Her prints don't count as enemies. Actually, I corrected him. It's 3 bad guys and 3 captives. They stared at me, so I pointed down. 3 sets of tracks are wide, even, marching perfectly straight. They obviously know where they are going. Meanwhile, 3 are tiny and chaotic, frequently trying to turn back. Those belong to our kidnapped targets. 3 kidnappers, and 3 hostages, counting the girls taken from town. Sunken gasps, you're a genius, boss. Just 5 enemies. That sounds terrifying. But wait, 3 of them are dragging hostages. Totally manageable. We surged forward along the trail. The snow was clean, and Benbin tracked that scent like a furry, heat-seeking missile. Suddenly, we all froze. You won't believe what was there. Hovering right in the pitch black. A body. Wang Wei and Sun Can hit the dirt so fast they probably left massive craters in the dirt. Their souls literally fled. As for me, I just stood staring. Because apparently this cursed mountain Treats every single night like a brand new episode of a horror movie. Seriously, ghosts, this is insane. I wanted criminals, not spooky spirits. Then I looked closer at the figure. Not a ghost, it was far worse. A girl, hanging from a tree branch, eyes bulging out, her body swaying in the wind, completely naked and freezing. She was frozen stiff. Wang Wei and Sun Can whimpered down on the snow, making choking noises in pure terror. They grabbed my arms like terrified kids. My own heart was hammering insanely, too. Midnight on a pitch-black mountain, and you stumble on a floating corpse. Trust me, I don't care how tough you will completely break you. But I forced myself to calm down. I simply refused to believe in ghosts, just absolute monsters. And I was completely right. As my eyes adjusted, I saw the belt, hanging from a pine branch 3 meters up. I cut her down. She was barely 17 or 18, just skin and bones, with dry yellow hair. A poor village girl. I actually recognized her. The fish seller's daughter from the market. Golwan kidnapped her, used her, and then strangled her, hanging her up like a trophy. Seriously, some people are pure evil. Wang Wei quietly dug a deep snow pit, laid her inside, and marked the spot with a rock to guide her family back. Later, no jokes now, just pure cold fury. I was angry before, but now, this was personal. I would hunt Golwan all night if necessary. We pushed ahead faster. Then, the tracks split 3 ways. One went right into the forest toward Peach Village, another climbed toward the higher peaks, and the last headed toward enemy territory, near the Dasha border. Which way? I took the forest path instantly. More tracks pointed there, making perfect strategic sense. Golwan would loop around the mountain too, sneak back home from a totally unexpected direction. We pressed deep into the dark woods and finally spotted flickering orange torches ahead. Found them. But wait, what we saw next absolutely shocked us. Completely. Armored soldiers carrying real weapons marched quietly toward Peach Village in formation. Enemy invaders, Dasha troops, on our side of the mountain, heading straight toward a village full of sleeping civilians. Wang Wei stared at me with pure terror. What do we do? 2 impossible choices, warned the government, but then Widow Wang dies for sure. Or save Widow Wang, but an entire village gets slaughtered. I opened my sleeves, letting the freezing wind blast my chest. I needed a cold brain. Sun Can run to town now. Report this to the local officials. If these soldiers change, heading straight toward our small village, everyone dies. The government must know. Sun did not hesitate. He fled. Meanwhile, Wang and I doubled back to the fork in the trail. We had to find Guan and save the women. I started tracking the leftover footprints, trying to figure out his path. Then, a loud roar echoed from the mountain. That is Big Flower, Wang said. Sure enough, the mama leopard was perched up ahead, staring right at us, straight from that 3rd peak now, like she was calling us idiots for getting lost, toward the 3rd peak. Meanwhile, though I only learned this later, up on the 2nd peak, Guan was having a great time being absolutely terrible. Shivering in thin rags, Widow Wang begged him for something warm. He scoffed, your kid saw my face. Be grateful I did not kill him. You want my jacket too, but I will freeze. Then freeze. She tried one more. Last card. Our village has a very powerful guardian who will come. If you let me go, I will tell him not to kill you. Guan laughed, stroking his like some movie villain petting a cat. I do not care how tough your mountain man is. The second he shows up, I will blow a hole right through him. Oh, buddy, he has absolutely no clue what is coming. He is sitting on a mountain where I killed a giant tiger, befriended a snow leopard family, and blew up a warehouse. You think that little fire gun of yours scares me? I have one, too, plus bombs, a bow, an axe, a dog, and a leopard who is currently giving me literal directions straight to your location. He killed that girl. He took Widow Wang, and now he is threatening Emmy. The guardian of this mountain is on his way, and he is not in a no room for negotiations. Big Flower, the snow leopard, played her part perfectly, leaping right onto the path in front of everyone. Guan's group, and she just stood there quietly, a massive furry roadblock. The 3 criminals completely panicked. One guy, Lair, tried to bolt, and their formation shattered instantly. Widow Wang tried escaping too, but Guan kicked her down to the ground. Calm down. It is just a big cat. But check this out, this genius decided to test his loaded fire gun on the wild beast, fumbling around trying to load it, like some guy reading manual instructions for the very first time. While he was being useless, I was already in position. Zing! An arrow buried itself deep inside Lear's neck. He did not even scream, just grabbed his throat and collapsed onto the dirt. What happened to you? Guan yelled out loud. Running over, he saw the arrow sticking out. Before he processed it, Wang Wei suddenly leapt straight out from behind a tree, shouting to let the women go. Guan recognized him instantly. Wang Wei, you think you're tiny? Bao can actually beat my fire gun. He lit the fuse and aimed. Now watch this part. Guan expected him to just stand there completely confused, since normal villagers have never seen a fire gun and do not even know to be scared. But Wang Wei already knows exactly what that thing can do. The second Guan lit that bright fuse, Wang Wei turned and bolted right into the pine trees like his life depended on it, because his life really did. Bang! The recoil nearly knocked Guan flat, hitting absolutely nothing but empty air and the trees and pine needles. He stood there, looking like a little kid who just set off his first firecracker, stunned by his own weapon. Neo Dash Wang, go find him right now, he ordered, turning to send his last buddy after Wang Wei, but Neo Dash Wang already was. He had an arrow in his neck, too. Same spot. Silence. Instant drop. That was me. 2 shots. 2 down. I don't miss. Now watch him sweat bullets. He just lost 2 friends in 60 seconds, and had absolutely no idea where those arrows came from. Wang Wei ran left, but the shots came from the right. His brain was short-circuiting. Who is there? Show yourself. Silence. Just Sister Ho, sitting right behind him, watching calmly, like she was enjoying a dinner show. You think you are tough with a bow? I have a fire gun. I can hit you from 50 steps. Buddy, you just missed a completely still target from 15 steps. Sit down. I jumped out of a tree. Wang Wei stepped out from the bushes. Now it's 2 of us facing him. Go spat on the ground. You killed my brother. Now you want to kill Emmy. Not happening. I'll kill you first. Then I asked the weirdest possible question. Do you have more gunpowder? He blinked. Yes. He started fumbling around in his pockets, pulled out powder, and tried to pour it down the barrel. Hands shaking, grabbed the ramrod, pushed it in, pulled out the fire starter, reached for the fuse, but I was already standing right next to him with my hand wrapped around his gun barrel and his fuse was already lit. Watch this way to slow. To use a fire gun, I ripped the weapon out of his hands with one yank, aimed it right at his thigh, and let his fuse do the work. Bang! He screamed and collapsed to his knees. Give it back. He actually tried to grab for it. This guy was on his knees with a destroyed leg, reaching for a gun that I was already reloading. Except I didn't need his clumsy method. I pulled out my own prepacked paper cartridge. Tear. Pour. Done. No ramrod needed. Fuse lit in just 2 seconds. His eyes went wide. You know how to use a fire gun. Blasts. Bang. Second shot. Right in the stomach. Not fatal. Not immediately, but pretty painful. I look down at him. You murdered her. Hung her naked body from a tree like some beast. You snatch women for fun. Did you think I would let you die quickly? A piece of trash like you does not deserve any clean end. Widow Wan was safe. And the other lady was safe, too. Criminals dead, one dying slowly. Big Flower just sat licking her paw like absolutely nothing happened. Wang Wei stared at me, reloading that fire gun like it was a magic trick. The entire clash took maybe 3 minutes. Guan spent 2 of those minutes just trying to load his gun once. I loaded mine twice and shot 3 times in that exact span. This is the huge difference between someone who just owns a fire gun and an expert who actually knows how to wield it. But wait, why not shoot him in the head? Wang Wei asks. Because I am smart, Wang Wei. I am supposed to be a simple ranger who has never even touched a fire gun. If I deliver a perfect execution style headshot, that overly suspicious cop, Lu, she is definitely going to have questions like, how does a basic farmer shoot like an elite special forces operative? No, thank you. So I handed the gun to Wang Wei. My gun stayed hidden in the Entire time, as far as anyone knows, I simply used Guan's weapon against him. Pure amateur luck. Nothing to investigate. Meanwhile, Guan lay on the ground, bleeding heavily from his leg and stomach. Instead of begging, get this, properly, this absolute fool decided to threaten me. You are dead, kid. You know, the Lotus cult. I am with them. My sworn brothers will chop you and your whole village into tiny pieces. I almost wanted to thank him. I had 3 solid witnesses. Wang Wei, the widow Wang, and the hostage heard it. He just handed me the absolute perfect excuse. Absolute legal justification. He really shouldn't have said that. I swung my axe. He dodged his head, but caught it on the shoulder, terrified. Brother Chu Foam, please, let's talk. Too bad. My heavy axe came crashing down. And that was that. In my past life, I was a soldier, but even then, I never killed anyone. It was peacetime. But since landing in this cruel world, everything changed. I went from reluctantly defending myself to deliberate executions. I hate it. But this lawless era has zero justice. If I let Gwyn live, his wealthy father would just bail him out in no time. The exact same terrible dad who already proved he is an absolutely corrupt piece of work. Sometimes real justice requires an axe. But watch this. Our boy immediately acts scared. Trembling, I looked over at Widow Wang, making my best scared puppy eyes. Oh, Wang Jia, I am so incredibly terrified. He claimed he was Lotus cult. She immediately hugged me, saying, oh, sweetie, it is okay, you had no choice. We all heard him. We will testify. I nodded against her shoulder, secretly smiling. An absolute Oscar-worthy performance. I stripped Gwyn's heavy coat off his dead body, giving it to her. Once she put it on, she slowly came back to life. Honestly, bless her soul. Instead of crying about her own horrific trauma, she spent the walk comforting me. She comforted me the entire walk back home. Zhaong, you did the right thing. Don't feel even a single bit of guilt. Okay, Wang Jia, I will try to be strong. I lied, hiding my absolute lack of any guilt with a worried frown. I made Wang Wei drop Gul W's gun. Right there. The local authorities knew it existed, so keeping it would cause trouble. Too suspicious. Leave the evidence right there. Fallen. We dug up the murdered girl's body from the snow pit, carrying her down, together with the surviving kidnapped victim, who was basically in shock. The entire village was awake. No one slept. Every single soul was waiting at the village entrance, hoping for us. When they saw our torches winding down the mountain with Widow Wang alive, the relief was immense. A physical wave. Puzzy threw himself at his mother's feet, crying, Mother, your son is useless. Widow Wang, always a rock, finally broke down and started crying. You see, mothers are tough until they see their kids. Then he knelt right before me, thanking me for saving his mother. He promised to never forget. He even said, you were right to slap me. Good kid, learning fast. After the emotional reunion, I quietly pulled Chief Da aside. Listen very carefully. There are enemy soldiers on the mountain, a whole army heading toward Peach Village. I sent Sonnen to warn the government, organize every able-bodied man in the village, have weapons ready to patrol all night, do not sleep. Does face turn white? He is just a village chief. His farmers are definitely not warriors. Yet he quickly nodded and got to work. I headed for town with the rescued women and the dead girl's body. What I heard later was insane. But get this, Peach Village became a literal battlefield. Government troops clashed with the enemy soldiers. From dusk till dawn, blood everywhere. The enemy eventually retreated back up the mountain, but both sides suffered heavy losses. My small arson case, my triple homicide of Gin's gang, nobody cared anymore. An actual military invasion occurred that same night. My report. Underneath, enemies attacked a local village. The next morning, Lu Shi and Liao Shang finally found me, asking if I caught the killer. I nodded modestly, drenched in someone else's blood, running on zero sleep, having saved 3 women and killed 3 criminals, exposed an enemy invasion, preventing a village massacre, walking 9,000 steps through deep freezing snow. Yeah, it was pretty scary. I am just a simple mountain ranger, you know. My act goes on. My back was dripping with sweat when Lu Shi drew a fire gun, pointing it directly at me, asking if I Watch this. I had to choose my next words very carefully. Knew how to use this weapon. Shaking my head, then nodding, I said I saw Gin use one yesterday. Pour in powder, light the fuse, and I could figure it out. But aiming, what is that? I smiled like the dumbest farmer around. Then they dropped the real bombshell. They wanted to give me a government-issued fire gun, apparently. These troops are super elite. Only 50,000 in the whole country, scattered across every single border. Normal soldiers cannot even touch them. Gunpowder is extremely rare and expensive. These elite troops are the absolute last resort in battle. So, naturally, the government decided to hand this deadly weapon to an uneducated ranger. Because that makes total sense. But, believe me, it gets even more ridiculous. They wanted me leading 10 patrol men. Official title, Patrol Captain of Jade Dragon Mountain. I wanted to say no. I seriously wanted to refuse. More duty, more danger, more attention, everything I tried to avoid. But then, I actually thought about it. If I say no to this, who gets the job? What if they hand it over to someone from Peach Village? What if old Mana, whose two sons I just ended, gets real influence over the patrol? My wife is pregnant. My daughter is only 5. If Gaon gets any sort of power near my family, deep breath. I accept. You must patrol the mountains regularly. If you spot enemy soldiers, report them immediately and fight them yourself. Absolutely, I say as loyal citizen. It is my absolute duty, with patriotic fire burning in my eyes. I have been in this country for maybe 2 years and have zero actual connection to it. But man, did those words make their faces light right up. Once they left, they went and announced to everyone in both villages that I was now officially the patrol captain, holding the power to choose my own squad of 10 people. Total, 5 members from each village. Members get completely exempted from grain taxes. But if you are chosen and refuse, double taxes. Talk about a pretty brutal draft, right? The Dragon Village roster filled up instantly. I stepped right up first. Am I in? I glanced over at Widow Wang for her approval. She nodded. Done. Wang Wei and Sun walked over without even being asked. Obviously, those two would follow me straight into an active volcano. Duke joined after his father, the village chief, figured that having government ties might protect them from those 200 Peach Village refugees who just moved in. Smart move, right? Politics. The last slot went to Ziyuan, a 30-something bachelor whose mother had recently passed. The guy had nothing left but a single wheelbarrow and free time. Patrol duty actually gave him a purpose. 5 slots filled. No recruiting effort was required. I did not ask a single person. They all stepped up. Meanwhile, those Peach Village's 200 folks stood there staring at their own shoes. Nobody volunteered. They were quite terrified of me. The guy who killed their chief's sons was now their new boss. Absolute comedy gold. Old Manuel walked up, wearing a pretty solid poker face, so you would never guess I killed them. Captain Chu, we just arrived. Maybe settle us in first before our chief can handle housing. Now about our patrol members. Are you choosing them? Or talk about zero respect. The old man's face twitched, but he swallowed it. Then Dudahai stepped in. He suggested giving them 2 days. Fine, 2 days. Then we go up the mountain whether they are ready or not, later. Dudahai came over, still planning to move to town. No, my family is staying here. Things have changed completely now. I am the patrol captain. I seriously need to stay near the mountain. Plus, towns always get raided and looted. Villages usually get completely ignored. Honestly, those town folks are absolute snakes. At least, here, neighbors actually help each other. Funny thing is, I have over 100 silver taels now, yet I feel absolutely zero security. Even if I had 1,000, so what? Cold cash cannot stop sharp swords. In this world, you need real power and honestly, look at this. I just grabbed both a government title, a weapon, and a 10-man squad. Not bad at all for someone who started the week by illegally burning down a warehouse. Dudahai just smiled knowingly. In chaotic times, towns are not safe. Villages are not dangerous. Come by my house later. I have something to give you. Something for me. The village chief has his secrets. This place is getting interesting. Speaking of which, Dudahai's house is huge. Seriously, how does a regular villager managed to have a pretty massive mansion like this. Turns out that his wealthy family were not original locals, refugees who earned everyone's trust simply by being decent people. When they rebuilt the house, the whole village pitched in. Talk about teamwork at its finest. But get this, big houses are perfect for hiding secrets. And man, did this old chief have a big one. He led me through the main hall, past the yard, into the firewood shed, right through the back of the shed, and then down into a hidden underground tunnel. Chief, what is your family's actual deal? He just says, follow me, like some mysterious old wizard, down in what was basically a massive cellar buried under old grain. He slowly pulled out a heavy, dusty, wooden box, saying those magic words, I have been hiding this for decades. If anyone ever found it, I would lose my head. Then maybe do not show me, I replied, because I have had enough losing my head again. No, it is fine. You can have it now, because you will not get executed for it. Well, now I was pretty curious. He dragged the box upstairs, putting out the torch. Smart. Watch closely now. He opens it in the falling snow. Inside lay an old fire gun, ancient, rusty, and completely ruined. His dad's weapon. The backstory felt both tragic and pretty hilarious. His dad was a fire gun soldier back when firearms were brand new and almost as reliable as a chocolate teapot. His first shot, the gun exploded, completely missing the enemy, hitting himself instead, completely blowing off his own arm and taking out an eye. His career was over. The army gave him some severance pay, and he wandered around as a traveling merchant until he finally met Dudehi's lovely mother, had a kid, and settled right in Dragon Village when they were resettling disabled veterans. I looked down at the wrecked gun. This thing suffered a severe barrel explosion. A what? I did not bother explaining. Some technical terms do not translate well to ancient farmer, but this gun is not the actual gift. Instead, he pulled out what lay hidden underneath. Black gunpowder, and quite high quality. Dry as a bone after decades of storage. How could this still be good today? My father said keeping it in grain keeps it dry. Plus, our little village only has 2 seasons, winter and summer. Neither is humid at all. My eyes went wide as dinner plates. This box held at least 100 pounds of gunpowder. That is enough to make 100 beast skin bombs. Wang Wei, Suncan, and I had been scraping tiny batches for weeks, and this old guy was sitting on a massive military stockpile under his shed. The government handed me a fire gun, but conveniently forgot the actual ammo. Classic bureaucracy right there. Here is a weapon. Bullets are your problem. Now I had enough to arm a small revolution. I will take it, I said with absolutely zero hesitation or shame. I hope this can protect our village. Dudai muttered quietly. Protect it from what? We are basically in the middle of nowhere. What danger could we possibly face here? His expression went dark. If Snow Ridge City falls, the enemy takes the whole region. They will sweep through every single village. If we are lucky, they just steal grain. If they are angry, they wipe us out completely. Honestly, that completely shut me up. I had never experienced real war. Sure, I fought single soldiers before, but massive civilian slaughter, that is a completely different universe. And Dudai had actually seen it before. His eyes told me everything. There is nothing we can do, I asked, unless we move the entire village. But move where? Jade Dragon Mountain. The words spilled out before I even thought them through completely. But the more I spoke, the more it actually made sense. War is heading our way, so why just sit, waiting to die? Move everyone straight up the mountain. 40-some people, 20-some families. And I know that mountain way better than anyone alive. Duda just stared at me, like I had totally lost my mind. He asked, about all those wild beasts up there. The natives. The curse. Would you rather die to enemy swords, or trying to find food on a wild mountain, at least up there? We actually stand a chance. He shook his head, wanting to discuss it later. They might not even break through, but watch this. I will go find us a safe spot. I am the patrol captain anyway. Exploring is literally my job. On a peak that massive, I will find us a real home. I slung 100 pounds of gunpowder over my shoulder and strolled right out his door like the most casual arms dealer on earth. Behind me, Dahai stood frozen for a long moment. Then I caught him whispering to himself, if there actually is a safe place, without any war, even if life gets harder. Would that really be all that bad? Yes, old man, that is the ultimate dream, a safe place where my pregnant wife can raise our kids without worrying about soldiers at our doorstep. And I am absolutely going to find it, if I must blow up half the mountain to do it. Now, 2 days later, Peach Village finally showed off their 5 patrol members, and guys, I almost choked. They sent me senior citizens, old man Jew, 60-something, attitude of a sassy teenager. What? Old folks cannot patrol. Wang stared at me like, are you actually seeing this? I just shrug. You know what? Fine. Old men are actually pretty obedient. If they sent 5 young muscular guys, we would be fist fighting every single day over who gets to lead. Grandpas follow orders, and if they refuse, what are they honestly going to try and do? Strike me with a cane, then. Guan himself finally showed up, almost 80 years. That old-timer, the father of the 2 boys I ended, he personally volunteered. Every single time he sees me, he smiles. Smiles. I literally axed both his boys, yet he grins like I'm his favorite nephew, humbly bowing. Oh, Captain Chu, whatever you say, Captain Chu, this is easily the scariest behavior possible. An old man who should want me dead, acting like my biggest fan, plotting, planning, playing weak, hoping I drop my guard to strike. Classic old fox moves. I have watched enough crime dramas in my past life to know that smiling enemy is always the deadliest, but two can play this game. Grandpa, starting right now. Your 5-man squad patrols. First, go climb up to that very first peak. His smile faltered. But Captain, you aren't coming with us. Busy. Got to go to town for weapons. Have fun climbing in the snow, old-timer. Wang Wei burst out, laughing behind me. Better hurry up. Grandpa, no slacking. The safety of both villages depends on you. Beautiful. I sent 5 elderly men to patrol a frozen mountain while I went shopping. Classic boss move. Right back home. Was packing up the carriage when Xia ran out looking panicked. Meow meow. Keeps coughing and won't stop. She has this scary rash on her face too. My heart sank. Instant daddy mode activated. But our local doctor, Jingshin, was out of town. No choice. We had to rush to town. The whole family piled into Ziyuxian's cart and headed straight for Snow Ridge Town. The government office was completely deserted, so I went directly to the clinic, a place called Return Spring Hall. Pretty fancy name for a clinic with the absolute worst customer service ever. We walked inside, and there was this arrogant young apprentice sitting at the front desk, just reading medical textbook. Xia, always sweet, polite as always, asked quietly, "Excuse me, any doctor free? My little girl needs urgent help." The kid barely even looked up. She tried again, asking, "Is your doctor here?" Nothing. This smug brat just kept reading as if we were totally invisible. Xia froze up. She's just a country girl, treated like absolute trash by city folk her entire life. She really had no clue how to fight back. Look at her, so lost. Suddenly, something deep inside me snapped. I slammed my hand down on the counter until the cheap wood splintered. Hey, speak up. Are you deaf? Where is the doctor? What kind of medical place leaves a deaf mute at the front desk? The little punk almost fell off his chair, shouting, "Why are you yelling? See, blind, you are what? A mere apprentice. Your only job is helping the sick. A true doctor's duty is saving lives, regardless of wealth or status. You see rural rags and decide we are beneath your notice. If my little girl had some deadly illness and died in your clinic just because you were reading your silly textbook, I would personally lock this building down forever." I went full scholarly elite mode on him, using advanced vocabulary and complex phrasing that sounded like a true scholar wrote them. The kid is completely speechless now. Back then, you never crossed high-ranking officials, and you absolutely never crossed scholars. My tone carried the weight of a wealthy nobleman, which terrified him far more than the screaming. He shut up and scrambled inside to bring the head doctor. Peaceful, older gentleman quickly stepped out and profusely apologized. He had overheard everything from the back room, ushering us in for Meow Meow's exam. I told Xia to immediately go inside with her. She was still staring at me. totally stunned. Her quiet farmer of a husband just dropped an absolute verbal bomb in perfect, scholarly language. She keeps noticing I am changing. She doesn't know how much. Meanwhile, that little punk was sitting there stewing. He noticed my ragged clothes and dirty boots, holding what looked like a stick, deciding I must be bluffing. No way a real scholar dressed like that. He was building up the courage to argue with me again, but then an official in government uniform walked straight through the door. Perfect timing. Let us see if he dares pick a fight now. This incoming officer in uniform is Lu Shi, head constable himself, the second most powerful man in town. That apprentice jumped up like his seat was burning. Officer Lu, welcome, sir. But Lu Shi did not even glance at him, asking, Shufeng, what are you doing here? Officer Lu, I have been searching everywhere for you. And just like that, we started chatting like old buddies. He threw his arm over my shoulder, asking about the patrol squad, telling me to drop by anytime. He even promised to get short swords for the team. The apprentice kid watched this entire conversation with his face slowly melting into absolute horror. The shabby village farmer he just ignored is best friends with the most powerful officer in town. Friendly shoulder taps, laughing together like absolute brothers. I could feel the kid's soul literally leaving his body. Beautiful. As Lu Shi was leaving, he noticed my fire gun, warning me not to bring it into town anymore. Of course, Officer Lu, totally understand. Then something even better happened. Lu Shi mentioned the administration was actively hiring new guards because we lost too many lives in battle, fighting enemy soldiers. Nobody wanted to enlist. Nobody wants to die. How about village recruits? I suggested, playing quite innocent. His eyes instantly lit up. Got anyone in mind? Well, there is my older brother, Chuang. He literally sits around doing absolutely nothing all day. And my strong, completely useless father. Plus my wife's whole family from Stream Village. Wait, are these all your relatives? Officer Lu asked, amused. Defending our homeland is family duty. He laughed and left, promising me a real job once everything settles down. Once he left, my smile turned pretty dark. Now watch this. Here is my real master plan. I will be out patrolling mountains for days. While I am gone, what if they come back? What if the Chu or Zhao families harass her? She is Shaw, causing trouble for her again. The villagers won't care, because of close blood ties. But if I and ship all those annoying relatives far away to town as new recruits, they will be far too busy playing soldier all day to bother Xie Sha. They will think they hit the jackpot. Nobody's becoming official soldiers. Meanwhile, they are completely out of my hair. And if they happen to die in battle, well, that solves this entire problem quite permanently. I know I am terrible, but I am fine. Now, get ready for some heavy news. The doctor finally speaks about Meow Meow. His apprentice stood there looking absolutely terrified, like he wanted to crawl in a hole and die. Apparently, your daughter has hives. Hives, not deadly, but it could easily be lifelong. It is incredibly itchy. He can prescribe medicine for symptoms, but the actual cure requires a pretty rare herb, a special herb called Tonin Purple. This special herb only grows at extreme heights, like the 4th or 5th peak of Dragon Mountain. Get ready, another excuse to go even deeper into the mountain. Onto the list, finding a fresh village site and rare healing herbs. No big deal at all, just 4th peak hiking where even wild bears are too terrified to go. When I paid, the local doctor refused my money. Free. Take this as our apology for the apprentice's bad attitude. Xie Sha stared at me in disbelief. Her husband scolded a kid, spoke like a scholar, chatted up the head constable, and now the doctors are giving us free medicine. She married a simple farmer. What happened? But I really insisted on paying. I'm not the kind of guy who accepts pity discounts. I put the silver right on the counter. He took the money, then turned around and slapped that rude apprentice so hard he flew off his stool, hitting the floor. If you ever act like this again, I will end you. Then the doctor turned right back with a pleasant smile. My sincerest apologies for all the trouble. The kid lay on the ground holding his cheek, completely reconsidering every single life choice leading to this exact moment. Ziyuang stood next to me, looking completely amazed. Every villager who's ever set foot here usually gets looked down on by these townspeople, treated like trash, ignored, dismissed. But today, can you believe they were slapping each other just to apologize to us? Xiaxua held meow meow tight and followed me out, stealing sneaky glances like she was trying to figure out who I actually am. Don't even worry about it, sweetheart. Just your average mountain patrolling, tiger slaying, warehouse burning, bomb building, scholar pretending, relative deporting husband, normal, big, holiday, and the government gave us 10 spears and 10 short swords. Sure, they were pretty rusty, basically antiques, but a rusty spear through a chest works just like a shiny new one. Ziyuan was practically beaming. He went from a lonely cart pusher to patrol member. With weapons, that is a huge upgrade. Little Meow Meow sat eating candy while scratching her hives. Hives are not deadly, but in this brutal era, facial scars make finding a husband quite impossible. I do not care who my girl marries, but no way she grows up feeling ugly. That purple grass herb is definitely on my mountain list, even if I must climb to the 4th or 5th peak where sane people never go. ZZ was already sewing extra gear for my trip. She always knows what I need beforehand. Ziyuan and I pulled our heavy cart together. Weapons plus family equals a lot. We chatted. Ziyuan asked if I ever thought of finding a wife. Why bother? We could die any year. Now, why ruin a girl's life? If we had peace, I'd find 10. We both laughed. ZZ glared right at him, as if warning him not to corrupt her husband. Almost home, I spotted 5 men blocking the road. Immediately, my instinct screamed, watch closely now. Stop the cart. I immediately grabbed my gun and paper cartridges. 5 strangers standing right on our village road, not a welcoming committee at all. I walked up, alone, asking them what was happening. They just stared, every single one, heavily armed. Then their leader spoke, and claimed this entire mountain belongs to him. He even claimed he planted the trees. I nearly rolled my eyes right out. Talk about a cliché bandit speech. These guys sounded like ancient relics from centuries back. Props to them for keeping the tradition alive. We played dumb, just poor peasants with nothing. Let us through. I tried playing nice. My family was right behind me. No heroics today. But their massive leader just sneered. Don't try fooling us. We saw you talking to Constable Lu. You two seemed pretty close. You are imperial officers. That cart is loaded with official goods. Leave everything behind and walk away. No chasing. Then he eyed ZZ. Actually, leave the pretty lady too. My entire body instantly went cold. I sighed. Oh man, they just crossed the line. Death warrant signed. I already had a lead ball loaded. Match ready. You guys are really sure about this? He ordered an attack, and then boom. His head exploded before he could finish. No twitching. No warnings. Just dropped dead. Complete silence. ZZ, Meow Meow, and Yu Yang stood there frozen like statues. Everyone except for me. Round 2. Powder, lead, ramrod, match, aim, fire. The second robber collapsed instantly, blood spraying. The others instantly had a massive panic. They turned around and scrambled, sprinting into the dark woods without saying they would return, just running for their lives. Yu Yang finally arrived holding his spear. Are you safe? Yeah. How did you do that? I just shrug. Seriously, you pour some powder, light the fuse, and aim at the massive target, standing right in front of you. Exactly difficult, though I guess. Makes sense, except it really does not. Loading and aiming a firearm with deadly accuracy twice in a row, under 30 seconds is elite military grade. But Ziyuan has never touched one, so he bought my easy act completely. Now watch what we do here. Next, something every gamer knows to always do, loot the bodies. Xia Z covered Meow Meow's eyes on the cart. Smart mom. Ziyuan joined me in rifling through the dead. Thieves who rob travelers daily must carry some loot. Right, absolutely wrong. These broke bandits were empty-handed, robbing people yet still poor, highly embarrassing, terrible at crime. But then Yuan pulled out some paper. There is writing here, but he cannot read. He threw it away like garbage. I grabbed it, opened it up, and my smile vanished. Whatever was written on that paper was bad news, the kind of horror that freezes your face mid-expression. Staring at the words, snow was falling with 2 dead thugs at My feet, feeling the temperature drop. Another 10 degrees. Just when you think you solved your problems, a dead bandit's note reminds you that, buddy, you are just getting started. Z. Yuan noticed my expression. What does it say? You look like you saw a ghost. Nothing. Just random ink. Can't even read it. I lied, hiding the paper. But you can read, he laughed. Since when? I simply smiled, sending him, along with Shiazi and Meow Meow, telling them I left a pretty important item and hurried back, walking so fast I was almost running. Get this, that paper was actually from the town's county magistrate, and its contents made my blood run hot. Storming into the official office through the back entrance, I marched straight up to Lu Shi and Liao Xiang and slapped that document down. What is this? I demanded. They stared. Liao Xiang's face fell. Lucy scoffed with a cold laugh. The magistrate's writing, isn't it? Where did you find this? Lucy asked. Were you robbed? Yes. 5 men. I shot 2 with my fire gun. I pretty much expected trouble for confessing to murder, but instead, Lucy's face lit up. You really know how to shoot. You're totally wasted as a mountain patroller. Hey, he is my guy. Do not dare steal him. Liao Xiang snapped. Both of them started bickering over who gets to claim me while I stand right there, furious about almost getting killed. What about the letter? Does anyone want to explain? They calmed down. Turns out our dear county magistrate, the highest official around here, is a pretty corrupt, greedy, unpredictable madman. Those government-issued weapons handed me, the magistrate saw them as pure merchandise. He sent Lotus cult bandits to rob us on our trip back home just to sell those weapons for easy profit. He literally mugged his own worker through shady middlemen. And those bandits also wanted my wife. Where is this magistrate? I really need to speak with him. If you really want to die, go ahead. We won't stop you, Liao Xiang said flatly. That quieted me down. I am brave, not stupid. The universe gave me this second life. Throwing it away over a dirty official would be the absolute dumbest waste of my reincarnation. Lissy walked out, already scheming. His plan was report my kills as the magistrate's victory. Pin all credit on the shady boss. Sounds backward, right? But here is the actual logic. If credit goes to Emmy, the magistrate will notice me. Once he notices me, he will target me. Better to let him think his own operation was what succeeded, keeping me completely invisible. Then Liao Xiang got serious. Lissy thinks you are talented, literate, smart, highly capable. He wants you on our team. Great political petty factions inside a small county government. Both of them were building a private power base against the magistrate, and they wanted me as a recruit. I lied, telling him that I have always supported you, Officer Liao, honestly. Because honestly, what else can you even say when the only 2 officers protecting you from a crazy magistrate demand your total loyalty? Exactly. Oh, and Lucy's father has a birthday coming up soon. You can't find meat anywhere in town, but they heard I can get some. Officer Lu expects it within just 2 days. I walked home with my mind absolutely on fire. That lesson, it's painfully clear. Wealth means nothing without real power. Having 150 silver taels changes nothing. A corrupt magistrate can send 5 hired thugs to rob me, and honestly, you can't do a thing. A greedy constable and his deputy protect me. Yet I must fetch premium meat for their father's birthday like some grateful, obedient puppy. I'm just everyone's handy tool. A little helper they pat on the shoulder, sending me straight into danger while they lounge comfortably in warm, safe offices. Back then, I was a respected soldier with high rank, solid structure, and actual rights. Today, I am just a highly talented, completely powerless nobody who must bow to every single minor official just to keep my family alive. This has to change. Back home in the village, the sunset was fading. Opening my door, I heard Meow Meow laughing inside as Bimbin barked. Huawen was napping on the roof. My whole world was right inside this house. Meow Meow grabbed my leg, complaining that Bimbin bit her and she wanted to hit him back. I picked Bimbin up, 20 pounds and heavy now, holding him still, while Meow Meow tackled him into the snow. Justice was served. Stop playing around. Dinner is ready, Xiaxua called out. From the kitchen, steam pouring out like some cloud factory. I watched this scene. My daughter wrestling the dog, my wife cooking, snow falling softly, and felt my heart squeezes. This is what I am protecting. The exact reason I need power. No glory, no revenge. Just so. Nobody can ever steal this from me. I went inside, grabbing all of our remaining savings, 150 silver taels, telling Xia Sha I needed to see the chief. It was time to start planning, because a happy family in this lawless world is just a target waiting to get hit. That night, I took every single coin I owned to do Dahai and demanded information on the black market. His face went completely stone cold. Bad idea, kid, he warned. Then he started spelling out the risks, danger, thugs, government spies, certain death. If we get caught, I threw down 150 silver taels. His eyes nearly popped right out of his skull. He had absolutely no clue I had it. This wealth is a ticking bomb, I told him. I cannot spend it openly, a greedy officials will just seize it. I cannot save it either. Some bandit will rob me, but we can use it to build a real defense for our village. Weapons, armor, supplies. A real defense force, not just for me, but for everyone here. I want every single villager to be able to earn coin and actually keep it without corrupt officials or bandits stealing it. And get this, my move, showing to Dehai all my cash was entirely calculated. He is a good man who genuinely cares about this village. Plus, I still have his illegal military gunpowder hidden away at my place, and he knows it. We both have serious dirt on each other. Mutually assured destruction, the bedrock of true friendship. He chugged a massive gulp of rice wine. Come closer, he whispered, and finally told me exactly where the black market was. Next morning, I had work to do. Weapons needed to be distributed. Patrol started today, and I owed Liao Zong some meat. Today is Louis's father's birthday, packed schedule. But first, an incredibly unwelcome visitor, Chu Long, my absolutely useless older brother, the thief who robbed me and caught an axe wound right on his back. He had been hiding out with our worthless deadbeat father for weeks, doing absolutely nothing. 2 grown men idling in that house, not eating, not working, basically barely existing. The local village officially classified them as totally useless, completely ignoring their entire existence. Now he stands at my door, fully healed and ready to be incredibly annoying again. Well, look who it isn't. Chu Long, crawling right back here. Once again, I gave him my coldest glare. He flinched, retreating a step, then suddenly puffed up with fake confidence. You cannot lay a finger on me now. Guess what? I am an official government officer. A royal constable. Wait, what? Lucy actually hired him already. I literally suggested it yesterday. Talk about speed. Efficiency for ancient bureaucracy. Yeah, well, I am the mountain patrol captain. What are you exactly? A junior errand boy? Get out of my face. His cheeks flushed red. Before he could even respond, Wang Wei, Sun Can, Zi Yuyang, and Ducheng showed up at my door, all armed with spears and swords, looking like a proper squad. Wang Wei poked Chu Long with his spear handle. Wound healed, yet already back to being pathetic. You cannot touch me. I am government now. Try me. Wang kicked him straight to earth. There, I tried. Go file a complaint. You will pay. I am telling the magistrate. Get ready for this. Perfect comedic timing strikes. Liao Xiang walked around the corner. Chu Long's face transformed from pure rage to joy. He scrambled toward Liao like a puppy, seeing its owner. Sir, thank goodness you are here. I am a constable. Right now, these peasants just assaulted me. Arrest them, punish them, make them suffer. Watching this guy go from zero to a petty tyrant after getting his new title was quite impressive. Small man, even smaller character. Liao Xiang stared at him like he was examining a bug. Chu Feng, come over here, he sawed, completely ignoring Chu Long. I stepped over calmly. Behind Liao Xiang, several guards were carrying massive bundles. Pretty interesting. Chu Long was bursting himself. Chu Feng, you are finished. Officer Liao Xiang is arresting you now. Liao Xiang smiled warmly at me. Chu Feng, we got the patrol squad uniforms made. Try them on to see the fit. actual government patrol uniforms, delivered right to me by the deputy magistrate, to me, but look on. Chulong's face was, honestly, no exaggeration, the absolute most satisfying thing I have ever witnessed. In 2 lifetimes, every single drop of smugness drained right out of him like water from a broken cup. He went from ordering my arrest to complete panic instantly. Meanwhile, I am building my power base. I have got weapons, uniforms, backing, black market ties, and hidden gunpowder, plus a solid plan. My idiot brother has only a namatag and bruised ego. Seriously. Welcome to the hierarchy, Chulong. I am at the very top. You are below. And I put you there. You do not know it yet. Chulong stood there whining that Chufeng hit him. He assaulted an official. Arrest him. Liao Xiang turned around and slapped Chulong across the face so hard it echoed off the mountains. You think you are an official, you do not even have a rank. One word and I will strip your badge and send you farming. Now shut up. Then he turned to me with a bright smile. So, Captain Chu, I need another favor. The sheer whiplash this guy inflicts on Chulong is absolute gold to watch. Turns out old man Shin's granddaughter, Tiandin, headed up Jade Dragon Mountain alone to search for her sick grandfather's medicine. And, surprise, she hasn't returned. Is she dumb? I asked, because someone had to. Liao shrugged. Find her if you actually can, but do not risk your neck. You are way more valuable than her. Well, honestly, I kind of agree with him, but I'm not starting a rescue mission now for some rich girl who voluntarily walked into wild beast territory wearing thin silk slippers. She made her own stupid decision. Natural selection is completely undefeated. Once Liao left, Chulong stood frozen, just like a broken statue. Wang Di nudged him. You still hanging around? Go do your job. He bolted immediately. What a relief, since he is finally a town officer. He'll move away permanently. Him, and our useless father too. Getting everyone out of my village and hair. All because I kindly recommended them for official government service. My evil plot worked perfectly. Next up, patrol day. My 5 recruits were ready. But first, I put together a sled. We're going deep into the mountains. We can't carry everything by hand. A sled lets us haul heavy weapons, food, and anything we catch. Just simple carpentry. 1 wide board, 2 runners, and classic joinery. We loaded up the spears and swords, and suddenly nobody was whining about the heavy gear. We wore the official uniforms. Got to admit, the dynasty has decent style. We looked seriously professional, like a real combat squad, except one kid was so scrawny that the uniform hung off him like a tent. Azzy? Just take it off, Sunken laughed. No, he is stubborn, but he will grow. But right as we prepared to leave, 5 old men suddenly appeared at my door. It was Guayang and his elderly squad, staring hard at our shiny new weapons. They wanted their own gear. Since they are official patrol members, I reminded them they were off-duty. Why would off-duty guards even need weapons? I hoped that would end it, but Guayang is way too crafty for that, so he suggested they just patrol with us, claiming they want to learn our methods. Damn it, that was a smart move. I really could not argue with that logic, so I told Wang Wei to give them gear. He reluctantly started passing it out, looking like he was getting a tooth pulled. But right here, a massive problem. 11 people instead of 6 meant extra eyes. So, hiding my secret fire gun was crucial. I only had official permission for 1. Carrying a personal one would raise questions. I also had to quickly change our route. We could not show them our base. Luckily, Wang Wei and Sun caught on immediately. Without a word, they silently adjusted. Now, these 5 old men seemed pretty useless. Everyone assumed they were just dead weight. The joke recruits from Peach Village. But check this out, the joke was on us. These grandpas easily kept up with us. Not a single one fell behind on the climb. Even through deep snow and high altitudes. Wang Wei tried poking fun at old Ru, telling him he did great for his age. Ru scoffed. He climbed these peaks back when Wang Wei was still a baby. All 5 elders burst into massive laughter. Wang Wei shut up for 20 whole minutes. Then old Ru asked another sudden question. Captain, since we are official patrol, can we hunt? That got everyone's attention. Suddenly, all 10 of them stared at me, waiting in total silence for my answer. Cared about. Guard duty was alright, but hunting rights, cash, food, pure survival, naturally. If You have the necessary skills. This mountain is absolutely crawling with wild game. I had one spotted. Rock sheep up here before, plenty of meat to easily feed both our villages. Catching them alone was completely impossible, but with 11 men, we could easily corner them all. Our squad pushed toward the second peak. That third peak was completely off limits. Nobody wanted to wander into predator territory, and the enemy route only crossed between those first two peaks anyway. Everything went smoothly. Our squad had full gear and high morale, and the elders were surprisingly alive. Then, Wang Wei suddenly froze. Hear that? Everyone stopped to listen. What now? Seriously, brace yourselves, guys. Every single time someone asks that here, some monster tries to murder us. It is literally a curse. We never get normal patrols. Never. Sunken said he was imagining things. Spoiler alert, he was not. I quickly resumed our patrol route right toward the thick forest near Peach Village. Those 5 elderly men were put on heavy sled pulling duty because free labor is awesome, and they never complained once. Good grandpas. Suddenly, the sky screamed. Gao! We all looked up. A sharp, high-pitched echo pierced the platform, like a knife scraping across the heavens. Oh no! There was a dark speck in the sky, growing insanely fast. A golden eagle. Not the cute nature documentary kind. This beast had a massive 3-meter wingspan, way bigger than any ostrich. Honestly, all the wildlife here is completely oversized. Tigers are horse-sized, bears are the size of trucks, and now this eagle was basically a small airplane. Back in my previous life, the largest bird I ever saw was an ostrich at a zoo. This massive eagle could carry in, drop everything, grab your spears and run to the trees. The second peak is a flat plateau with zero cover. Our only chance was hitting that dense forest where the beast couldn't dive, bomb us. Everyone grabbed weapons and sprinted, but the 5 elderly men were too slow. Decent endurance, but no real speed, and that eagle was locking onto them. Especially Guang, the slowest of the bunch. Get ready, this choice changes everything. Choice. I could keep running, letting the eagle snatch up an old man. Nobody would blame me. They are Peach Village folks, and half of them hate me. Guang literally wants revenge for his dead sons. Letting nature take its course would solve so many of my problems permanently, but I stopped. Everyone, halt, spears up, my guys. Wang Wei, Sun Can, Dachong, Zi, Yuan, Huzi. Every single one stopped instantly. No hesitation. They were terrified. I could see the raw fear, but they turned around and raised their weapons. Guang was standing frozen in the snow, staring at us like we had lost our minds. He'd already accepted death. Absolutely heartbreaking. He was saying goodbye to his sons in his head. Then the very people he considered enemies spun around to protect him. Old Guo, what are you doing? Move your legs. Old Manzu was already running toward us. We formed a star formation around Guangong, 11 spears pointing outward like the most desperate defensive porcupine. The eagle swooped low, saw the wall of pointy spears, and actually pulled up. The weariness in its eyes was clear. We were no longer easy prey. Go. Now. We moved as one toward the tree line. The bird circled above, screaming, waiting for someone to break formation. Finally, we reached the forest. Everyone is gasping like broken bellows. Guang looks right at me, demanding to know why I saved him. Save you? Don't flatter yourself. You are part of my patrol. Nobody dies on my watch. It isn't heroism. This is just tedious paperwork I hate filling out. Something subtle shifts in the old man's eyes. For just a second, he actually looks at me differently, almost like he is seeing something familiar. He vividly remembers from his own youth. A leader who will not abandon his squad, even if they are his enemies. Do not get sentimental on me, old man. I know you still want revenge. With a huge whoosh, the eagle dives down. This absolute lunatic bird is so hungry it actually chases us right into the trees. I slam old man Zhu to the ground just as razor-sharp claws slice right where his head just was. This thing is starving, I shout. A well-fed predator would have given up by now, but this one is desperate, and desperate beasts do not quit. What do we do? Ziyuang asks, terrified on his very first patrol. I glance up at this massive monster bird circling back. Can you feel the absolute dread? It will not let us escape. We fight. Wang Wei and Sunken immediately Get hyped because those two absolute psychos. Love it when violence is on the menu. Du Chong scrambles over to Wang Wei, whispering, "Do you have any bombs? Give me one, give me one." Apparently, Wang Wei and Sunken ran their mouths, bragging about our explosives. I have no time to yell now. Bombs won't work, it's flying. Genius. Wang Wei sighs, right, different. Strategy needed. I scramble up a tree, load my fire gun, light the fuse. And wait, the massive eagle spots me up there, isolated, completely exposed. The perfect target. It climbs to maximum. From high up, it locked eyes and plummeted, diving straight down, 300 kilometers. A feathered missile moving way too fast. Didn't need claws, just hitting me would feel like getting smashed by a car. My hands shook. Fighting tigers, easy. Fighting bears, sure. But a living missile, flying at high speed, train velocity, aiming directly at my face, terrified. But I absolutely could not miss. One miss meant certain death. I steadied my breath, watching it get bigger, bigger, bigger. Golden eyes completely filled my vision. I fired, but missed completely. As the bullet left the barrel, that feathered demon somehow sensed the incoming danger. Mid-dive, it dodged, instantly retreating. It changed direction, shooting back upward. These beasts are built different. Juan immediately asked if I hit it. Sun Sin answered for me. He saw everything clearly. Embarrassing math, though. My fire gun shoots at 200 kilometers, but this eagle dives at 300. The bird is faster than my bullet. To him, my shot looked slow. I jumped down from the tree. The gun is too slow for flying targets. We need a different plan. Instantly, everyone panicked. We couldn't run. The eagle would pick us off easily. Blizzard incoming, unable to shoot. Bullets too slow, arguing in circles. When a sudden voice cut through. What if we used some bait? Gone, the ancient fox himself suggested. If someone stands in the open, the eagle dives down to grab them, landing on the ground, moving normally. Can we hit it then? Yes, but the bait dies. Aon calmly volunteered, acting like he was just fetching water. I protested immediately, but he calmly asked why. Wouldn't my death be convenient for you? Captain, our eyes locked. Everyone went silent. He was not wrong. This man wanted to avenge his sons by killing me. His death would solve my biggest problem. And he knew it. He was testing me, while sacrificing himself at the exact same time. But I could not let him do it. Not because I am noble, but because leaders do not sacrifice their people, period. Before I could argue, this stubborn old goat grabbed his spear and walked out onto the open plateau, yelling for that giant bird to come get its grandpa. His voice echoed across the valley. The eagle spotted him instantly, finally, and isolated target on open ground, its favorite. Meal set up, then it dove. Black streak falling from the sky like a feathered meteor. Guangong stood there, gripping his spear, face blank, hands shaking. Nobody is calm when death is screaming toward them at 300 kilometers an hour, but he stood anyway, because somewhere inside that scheming old brain, he needed to prove he was not useless. The man who built Peach Village from nothing with his bare fists still had some fight left in him. Then, old Manzu ran out and stood right beside him. Two old men facing flying death. Talk about absolute legends. And then, I could not believe my eyes. Wang Wei ran out too, and then the others. My entire squad charged onto the open plateau with their spears raised, screaming at a giant eagle like absolute maniacs. This was either the bravest or the stupidest thing I had ever seen, probably both. The desperate eagle committed fully. Starving, one more failed hunt meant it would not survive the winter. That is, when Sunken and I executed our battle plan. I was up in a tree, at the forest edge, with Sunken holding the fire starter while I loaded the weapon assembly line style. I aim, he lights, I shoot, he reloads. Then I aim again, bang, first shot, and the giant eagle flinches, bang, second shot hits the wing. It screams, bang, third shot, right in the head, 5 seconds, 3 shots. Our two-man speed reload system worked beautifully. The massive body drops out of the sky like a giant feathered blanket, landing directly on top of Guang and his crew. What a disaster. They are buried under 3 meters of dead bird. All I hear is Wang Wei screaming bloody murder, and the sound of panicked spear stabbing. Sunken and I just watch, wiping the sweat off our foreheads. My fingers are pretty burned from the rapid fire. Fuse work, Totally worth it. It is dead. You can stop stabbing now, I yell. They crawl out from under a mountain of feathers, looking like they survived a car wash made of raw bird. Gwiong clutches his chest. My old heart almost gave out. You actually killed it, Captain. I believed in you, and I was right. Yeah. Just do not die of a heart attack. That would be pretty embarrassing after this. Everyone gathers around the massive eagle. Their reactions are absolutely priceless. It is enormous. The beak is sharper than our spears. I have never seen anything this massive in my life. Wang Wei is already calculating the profits. This beast will sell for a fortune, but wait for it. His face falls. We have to split this 10 ways. Now. Guang just stares at me quietly. I can see the gears turning in his head. He heard 3 shots in 5 seconds. Knows firearms. He knows it's physically impossible for a single person, even with help. The old fox is doing math in his head, trying to figure out my secret. Let him wonder. The wind picks up, the sky turns black, heavy snow starts falling. Sideways, a blizzard is coming because, of course, you kill a giant eagle. We immediately face total disaster. Jade Dragon Mountain rules. Did you think you were done? Too cute. We were hauling that massive eagle downhill when things got pretty interesting. Old Guan walked over, asking me the exact question. That was eating him alive. Did his Sun Gu really strike me first? I never kill without a reason. How did he attack with an arrow aimed right at my throat? He froze. There were witnesses, including Guo Wu's own buddies on that exact day. If he wanted truth, he could ask them. I gave my answer. What he does with it is his choice. We started trekking over the first peak. Almost home. Easy ground. Should have been simple, but here's the crazy part. I looked up, my eyes went wide. Run. A massive avalanche was coming. The gunshots, the screams, the eagle fight. Those huge sound waves had shaken loose thousands of tons of heavy snow right off the peak above us. Now, it was coming down fast. No saving anyone, not a single soul. I watched my squad get swallowed in white death. Hit from behind, I got slammed onto the sled, sliding wildly down the mountain at like 1,000,000 kilometers per hour, tearing through trees, past the second peak, off a cliff. Then, my head smacked hard, and everything went black. When I woke up, check this. Someone was dragging me by the legs. That was actually great news. Dead guys don't feel their legs being pulled. Hunger, thirst, pain, the 4 horsemen of mountain apocalypse, all right here. Sir, are you awake? A woman's soft, worried voice. I managed one simple word. Cold. She dragged me inside. Freezing, no fire. Temperature. I was totally about to die. Freezing. Then, sudden warmth. A soft, warm body pressed close. Pure body heat. The ultimate survival trick. Darkness completely took over my vision again. When I finally opened my eyes, bright sunlight was pouring directly into the cave. I looked right next to me and almost had a heart attack. A gorgeous young woman was sleeping right there beside me. I freaked out before recognizing her. It was actually Tian Din, Old Mansion's granddaughter, the wealthy girl who climbed this frozen peak alone seeking medicine. The target Liao Xiang begged me to find. Her breathing was shallow, alive, but burning up with a massive fever. Looking down, I realized my shirt was completely gone. Her gear was half unzipped. Remembering that warmth from last night, I quickly put 2 and 3 together. She shared her body warmth. She saved me. But wow, can you even imagine? Was all this really necessary? I muttered. This place smelled absolutely terrible. By the way, back in my past life, I actually used to fantasize about being trapped in a cave with a beautiful woman. Then I learned the harsh reality. When trapped, people relieve themselves indoors. And it stays. Romance dies when biology kicks in. I wanted to escape this stinking cave more than anything. Luckily, my sled had survived the avalanche. Tian Din must have dragged it into this cave with her. Most of our survival supplies were completely gone, but the fire guns and gunpowder were still here. This girl literally saved me and my weapons. Respect earned. Outside, the deep snow was shoulder deep. The first peak had collapsed, meaning the second and third peaks definitely did too. Even worse since they are much higher. Tian Din was searching for those rare herbs when the massive avalanche hit. This cave was her only reason she survived. I quickly got a warm fire going with what little fuel remained. Fine. Melted snow was boiling. Our only option. Tian Din suddenly sat up screaming, grandfather, waking from a nightmare about that old man, screaming at her, even in her dreams. She was fighting for respect from that old man, screaming that women can never inherit, cannot run businesses, cannot do anything, and her screaming back that she is better than her late brother ever was. She looked around the pitch-black cave, confused, then saw me, asking if I was okay. Cough, cough, cough. I said I was fine, but she was burning up. We were trapped in a freezing cave on a savage mountain that tried to kill us. My patrol squad was buried somewhere under tons of snow, and my wife back home had zero clue if I was alive or dead. Seriously, what a nightmare. Morning. Meanwhile, Tian Din woke up shivering uncontrollably, like a leaf in a hurricane, forehead on fire, body aching, barely standing. Classic severe cold. She was actually pretty lucky, I told her, though she asked how. This was lucky, with her bag full of remedies. She had gone up this mountain to harvest one specific herb for her sick grandfather, accidentally grabbing a lifetime's worth of random plants, including various cold remedies. Then, I noticed, with intense, barely contained excitement, tonin, purple grass, the exact medicine I desperately needed to cure Yao Miao's hives. Sometimes, the universe actually throws you a lifesaver. Believe me, after those terrible avalanche, we were on the fourth peak. This girl had actually climbed higher than I had ever gone alone, through territory with criminals, enemy, soldiers, hostile natives, and predators. How are you even alive? I asked her sincerely. The doctor said her herb must be found with sincerity, so she came sincerely. Typical ancient healthcare system. Just be sincere, everyone, and stroll right on into the middle of Death Mountain. I washed some healing herbs. Boiling the medicine in a stone bowl took forever just to find the right shape, and forced her to drink. She obeyed, without a single complaint, but instantly, she tried to stand and collapsed. I caught her. Now, before you imagine anything romantic, this cave smelled like a sewer. Any chemistry between two people gets instantly murdered right there, by the foul stench of the cave, used as a bathroom. Zero romance here, just pure survival. We waited until she could walk. I cleared the entrance, stepped outside, and saw dozens of hungry, cunning eyes staring right at me. Wolves, what is wrong? Tianjun asked. Behind me. I backed up immediately. Wolves outside. Just wolves. Shouldn't this be easy for you? Flattering, but absolutely not. Remember, our second meeting, one wolf always means a whole pack. They smell us, waiting right out there. Step out, and 15 wolves jump us instantly. So, we went back inside. Stalemate. And get this. Wolves do not normally hunt humans. We are absolutely not their first choice. But these beasts were starving. Winter, post-avalanche, absolutely no prey. They were desperate enough to wait outside a smelly cave just for two humans to step out. Fine. You want a patience contest? Let us go, wolves. I have shelter, warmth, water, and fire. You are freezing out there. Let us see who breaks first. Both fire guns were intact thanks to Tianjun saving my sled. I had paper cartridges hidden inside a secret compartment and my short sword. Can you shoot? I asked her. Never. Touch one. I'll teach you then. We have little gunpowder, so only one practice shot. Think you can learn? Something bright sparked in her eyes. Competitive fire, if you can do it. So can I. I did not expect that energy coming from a rich girl raised on embroidery. I showed her once. She watched like a hawk, grabbed the gun, and fired. Hit. Not super accurate, but inside a cave, aiming at the huge entrance. Precision hardly matters. A blind man could hit anything stepping through that doorway. So, this is how firearms actually work. She was completely thrilled. Apparently, she always had a taste for warfare, tactics, and business, but Grandpa only kept her doing needlework. This was her first time ever handling weapons, and she was absolutely thriving. We prepared our ambush. 2 guns aimed straight at the entrance, taking turns, keeping watch and resting. The wolves wait outside while we wait inside. A game of patience and stubbornness. As night fell, the pack broke first. One crept toward the entrance, Boom, dead. The beasts instantly sent another Volf inside, knowing our weapons take time to reload. Boom, Tyndin dropped it. 2 guns mean double the firepower before reloading. The pack didn't expect that. Talk about perfect math. Simple math. Those 2 bodies absolutely enraged them. They realized our trick. 2 humans, only weapons, and they take ages to reload. Rush down together to overwhelm us. They were right. We kept firing, taking turns as fast as we could, but reloading still took way too long. The pack started breaching our defensive kill zone. 1 beast lunged at me, smiling. I dropped my weapon and drew my short sword. You actually made past the guns. Now meet my blade. I hacked into the first beast, slicing so hard blood painted the cave entrance crimson. The great thing about fighting in this narrow cave mouth is they can only squeeze through one by one. It is not 15 against 1, but 1-on-1. -1 times over, in close quarters with a sword. This is my playground. Puppies. What followed was a total bloodbath. Get ready. More than my lives combined. Those wolves kept coming in relentless, crushing waves. The entrance turned into a complete slaughterhouse. Tyan. She crouched low behind a rock, firing the backup gun while I held the narrow passage, swinging my blade like an absolute madman. Bang, slash, hack and shoot. Slash, shoot, repeat. We weren't even aiming. The beasts packed the narrow cave entrance so tightly that every bullet hit something. Every swing slashed flesh, pure gore. Black blood. My own didn't matter anymore. My arms grew heavier with every strike. I was running on empty, having survived a massive avalanche. Now imagine fighting off an endless melee against a whole pack. At first, they fell in single strikes. Then it took 2 hits, then 3. My strength was fading fast. The beasts began dodging, getting smarter with each leap. A brutal war of attrition. Who breaks first? One last beast fell to my cold blade, and I finally collapsed, but they broke too. 6 limping survivors slunk away. Whimpering, they fled the dark. I looked around. The cave looked like a slaughterhouse. Dead beasts piled high. My clothes were completely shredded. The inner layer Shia Shah crafted for me was ruined. The tiger vest she sewed was totally ripped apart. My face bore deep claw marks, with bloody arm bites. I was breathing like a broken engine. No time to rest. The surviving pack outside was howling, desperately calling for backup. We had to move. I skinned 2 massive beasts, 1 thick fur coat for myself, and 1 for Tyan. She, pure warmth and intimidation, rolled into 1. Wearing the king's pelt was a massive middle finger to those surviving beasts. Let's move. We burst out of the cave into a freezing, clear night. Gorgeous, if you somehow ignore those predators shadowing our steps. They kept following us, but hesitated to strike. Their king was dead, and their spirit shattered. Yet, they remained. They are just waiting for us to make a slip up. Tyan glanced back there, still following. Don't look, keep pushing forward. We reached the 3rd peak, but our path home was totally blocked. Tons of avalanche debris, deep snow, completely impassable. Tyan started crying. It's too late, even if I return. Grandpa is probably already gone. I had to tell her gently. Your grandfather is actually doing fine. She gasped. What? Liao Xiang sent to find you, but he made it clear. Your life comes first, not the mission. Think about it. If his illness was really that critical, would he send his own granddaughter into the absolute most dangerous mountains in the land to gather medicine, completely alone? He knew you could never find it. He wanted you to fail. I didn't spell out everything. I didn't have to. She's incredibly sharp. Her grandfather set her up, using filial duty as a noose to drag her onto this frozen death mountain. He wanted her gone. No male heir means no inheritance. Feud if there's no granddaughter either. She wept harder, but she understood. We changed path, a longer route, but way safer, wrapping around the 3rd peak toward the far side, closer to enemy territory. This route would take us past a spot I'd wanted to scout anyway, a deep valley below the 3rd peak with highly farmable land. Supposedly, bandits and wild beasts lived there, but it was far from both nations. Neither army would ever bother with it. A potential future village, definitely adding it to my scouting list. Suddenly, the wolves disappeared, but I Didn't trust it. Then look at this. Barking, the dog barking way out here on Jade Dragon Mountain. Then, no, wrong. Sound. I know my own dog's voice. I spun around. Those 6 wolves were 10 meters behind us, silent, drooling, ready to strike. Sneaky bastards. I grab my fire gun immediately, reaching for gunpowder. But 3 layers of thick animal skin made pockets totally impossible to reach, fumbling like an idiot while wolves prepared to eat me. Great. Tyan Din raised her walking stick high with shaking hands. Louder barking from multiple directions. Not just one dog, many dogs. Dogs on a snowy mountain with no dogs. Unless they were wild, which means we just traded hungry wolves for more wolves. Honestly, we were completely done for. To die, I said. Tyan Din looked at me with teary eyes, apologizing. Her fault, and she does not even know my name. No sir, just call me Chifom. She gauged, too intimate. Just call me Fongji, like my brothers call me. She asked what intimate meant. We were about to die. And get this, our conversation completely derailed. Lessons, survival comedy. Then, a weird voice called from above, telling us to get up there. We looked up, and what we saw left us both utterly speechless. Dogs. Real dogs on a mountain in the middle of absolute nowhere. And not just random breeds, Malamutes and Huskies. Fluffy Malamutes looking serious faces, and Huskies with those derpy blue and gray-colored mismatched eyes. For half a second, I felt like I was back in my old world. 9 dogs pulling a sled, steered by a woman dressed in beast skins with deep-set blue eyes. She was absolutely not from around this area. Cracking a leather whip like she had been doing it since birth, the sled roared toward us, stopping right in front of. She asked, "Are you Dutchin or Dian? Get on." There was no introductions. I refused. She pointed out we were being stalked by. Forget those wolves. Get on, I like speed. Tun Din and I quickly climbed aboard. All 9 dogs went absolutely wild, barking at those 6 wolves. It was a beautiful, loud, chaotic chorus echoing through the night. The wolves took one look at those 9 insane sled dogs and backed off instantly. Tonight was not their night. Hai Tuan, the woman, shouted at her lead dog. I almost laughed out loud. She named her dog the exact same name as that kid back in my hometown. I cannot wait to tell him a dog shares his name. The sled sped off, and we raced across the snowy ground. Under the stars, I finally let go. I slept for the first time in 2 days. On the moving sled. Was this rock bottom or peak survival? Honestly, you tell me. When my eyes finally opened, we had arrived in a real mountain settlement, tucked away up high. There were round-roofed cabins, stilted homes designed to keep out water and pests. Clever setup. Maybe 50 or 60 houses, way bigger than Jade Dragon Village. A short, elderly man stood there waiting for us. White hair, long beard. He barely reached my chest, looking exactly like some dwarf king, straight out of fantasy legends. Guests, what brings you here to our Kishi tribe? These legendary mountain folks, who everyone claimed were dangerous cannibals, except they spoke flawless Mandarin, had a highly structured society, and their main worrying was whether we came from a dog-eating culture or a dog-loving one. We are from Dutch and Jade Dragon Village, right at the mountain base. The old elder nodded. Good. If you were Dao, my granddaughter would have thrown you to the wolves. Dao people eat dogs. In our clan, dogs are family. All 9 dogs howled in agreement, loud and clear. I began digging through my thick layers, wolf pelts, tiger skin, and bear skin, searching for coins to thank them. Finally, I found some silver bills, but the old man noticed the tiger and bear furs on my shoulders and on his knees. Warrior, did you slay the mountain tiger and the mountain bear? Oh no, I immediately panicked. What if they actually worship these beasts? What if I just admitted to killing their sacred protectors? I stammered. Yes, but it was self-defense. They attacked first, but the elder shook his head. If you truly ended their lives, you are our hero. Honestly, what a massive sigh of relief. It turned out those deadly beasts had been terrorizing his entire people for years. Slaying them made me a total celebrity here. But sir, we haven't eaten in 2 whole days. Can we please come inside quickly? Their home was incredibly warm and spacious. featuring a central fire pit and a smart roof ventilation hole. No stuffy smoke, tons of hanging meat, and neatly stored mountain vegetables. They were entirely self-sufficient, living off hunting and gathering. No heavy taxes, no corrupt rulers, zero corrupt officials, just pure survival. I immediately wondered, if war breaks out, could we escape up here? These mountain folks had it figured out. Why descend the mountain to pay heavy grain taxes when you can survive here for free? Warm tea and wild meat soup arrived. It tasted awful. No real seasonings exist when your entire tribe is isolated up here for generations. But after 2 foodless days, this simple meal tasted absolutely legendary. We were just preparing to leave when the elder approached me with a very serious face, pleading, "Please, take my granddaughter." I almost choked on my tea, nearly spraying it out my nose. I stared at the fierce warrior woman. That terrifying, wolf-scaring, whip-wielding, tough sled driver was standing behind her grandpa, looking shyly playing with her hair. Wait, what is happening here exactly? This is way too much information. Sure, she saved us, but why marry me? Besides, I am already very much married. I cannot take your granddaughter. Absolutely no way, sir. No joke, this is the 3rd time now. Someone on this mountain is offering me a bride. First, old Tyan offered his own granddaughter. Then, the local officials kept dropping hints. Now this tribal chief is literally pushing his girl like clearance merchandise. I only hunted down a tiger, bear, and eagle. Somehow that makes me the prize. China's most eligible bachelor. Meanwhile, I just honestly want to go back home, hug my wife, pet my dog, and eat seasoned food. But the chief explained everything. Their tribe was terrorized by a monster tiger and bear. Hunters kept dying constantly, so they finally prayed to their mountain god. Whoever slays both beasts gets our prettiest girl. Guess who strolled in right then, wearing both of those pelts like fashion statements? Maybe I killed different beasts. I desperately tried to explain. Huge mountain, lots of wild animals. It could be completely different beasts, right? But the tribal chief just slowly shook his head. I recognized those exact animal pelts. Oh, fantastic. Of course he is. The chief, apparently, if I don't accept his granddaughter, divine retribution will strike the whole tribe. Absolutely no pressure, right, chief? Your granddaughter saved my life. We are completely even, so let us part ways. I stood up to leave, and Tyan followed closely. The chief looked totally heartbroken, but he still offered her help. She would take us down the mountain by sled. The 3rd peak had an avalanche, so our only option was taking the long route. We are riding right past a bandit stronghold, dodging dangerous wild beasts. Sounds like fun. Also, the chief mentioned, her name is Suihua. Looking at this fierce warrior woman, that name is like naming a deadly lioness Daisy. Her real name is Carfiso, meaning most fortunate and most beautiful. Suai is just her nickname. Ugly names actually keep children alive longer. Ancient legends meet tribal tradition. I got it. Either way, Suihua drove our sled in stone-cold silence. 9 dogs, 3 riders, and 0 conversation. It was absolutely awkward. Then she finally spoke. Is it because I am ugly, or is my body not good enough? Is that why you do not want me? Oh boy, the hardest question. And get this. Truth is, Suihua was not ugly at all. Her face was stunning, with exotic features, sharp bone structure, and intense blue eyes. She looked big under all those thick winter clothes and dense muscle, but underneath, she was powerful, the kind of body that makes fitness influencers in my old world jealous. She was stunning in a way that intimidated most men, but how do you say that without making things worse? After painful thinking, the best praise my ancient Chinese speaking brain produced was, "You have a great body for bearing children." In our world, that line gets you instantly cancelled, but in this era, it is the highest praise a woman could receive. Cultural context saves lives, but Suihua was not buying it. The men in my village say women like me are considered ugly by mountain folks. You rejecting me just proves them right. The sled stopped. She climbed off, handing me the reins. Keep the dogs. Take care of them. Goodbye. Wait, what? You are giving me the sled and the dogs. Where are you? Go where? Nobody wants me. Our tradition says unwanted women must meet the mountain god. And she starts walking toward A cliff. A real cliff. Luckily, Tianxian moves faster than me. She bear hugs Sua Hua from behind. I snap out of my shock and we tackle her to the ground. Standing up, I channel every motivational speaker from my past life. Listen to me. First, you are beautiful. Your body is incredible. There is no woman more stunning in this entire world. Second, I have a wife and daughter. Taking you would betray them. Third, and this is the most important part, you do not belong to anyone. You don't exist for a man to claim. You exist for yourself. Live for yourself. Sunlight hits me dramatically as I deliver this speech. Talk about cinematic. Sua Hua blinks. Tianxian stares up, with her heart doing absolute gymnastics. That actually makes sense, Sua Hua admits. Then she shakes her head. No, you're lying. Men always take 3 or 4 wives. Why not take 1 more? The mountain god will curse me. If you don't take me, I die right now. She bolts for the cliff again. Okay, fine. I will take you. I want you. Yes. Deal. I grab her waist just in time. She stops, turns around. Really? Yes. Really? Absolutely. 100%. Please. Step away from the cliff. And that is how I got a wife through hostage negotiation. Shia is going to kill Emmy. I survived a tiger, a bear, an eagle, an avalanche, wolves, bandits, and even a corrupt magistrate. But explaining Sua Hua to my pregnant wife, that might actually be the thing that finished me. The sled starts moving, and Sua Hua finally stops looking like an icy statue. She is finally smiling now, directing the dogs with a soft voice. She is ecstatic. Meanwhile, in the back of the sled, my mind is completely frying. Complete panic mode. Time to stall now. I tell her I cannot take her yet. She needs to go home, prepare her marriage dowry, then find me in Jade Dragon Village once she is fully ready. Except the road to my home is buried by that massive avalanche, so she literally cannot reach me until spring. And by then, who knows what will happen? Maybe war breaks out, we evacuate, or the world ends. That is future Chufang's problem anyway. Did I just lie to stop a girl from throwing herself off a cliff? Sure. Am I proud? Not really. But am I alive? Yes. Priorities, people. Sua Hua is absolutely thrilled. She proudly announces to the empty air. Every single girl back home got married except her, all because of her grandfather's promise to the mountain god. She couldn't marry until a man slayed the tiger and bear. She thanks me, calling me husband. No problem. Meanwhile, Tungsten is giggling beside me. Her hair is blowing in the freezing wind. Like some model, these girls are going to end my life way faster than any mountain beast. Suddenly, Husey, our loyal Husey, starts frantically barking. Sua Hua freezes. Something's wrong. Husey only ever barks like that during absolute danger. Suddenly, the sled whipped sideways into a sharp turn. Right where we were heading, a wall of wolves stands waiting. Not 6, not 15, but over 30. Those cave survivors must have run home to calling their packs, organizing a massive revenge strike. These beasts literally formed a whole wolf army across tribal lines. Talk about calling in backup. Our sled dogs do not even flinch. Nobody runs. Husey sizes up the threat, spins the wooden sled, and guns it like a literal race car. These magnificent dogs are built. Back in my old life, they wore cute sweaters and posed for Instagram, but unleashed, total war machines. The wolves start gaining fast. One gets close to our speeding sled, but Tian Din, this feverish girl burning with fever, grabs a sword and slashes as we fly right past. Our insane speed adds massive force to her swing, so the wolf literally slices itself wide open on her blade. She barely even tried. Another beast lunges with massive speed right beside me. Boom, gunfire. Another beast is done. Abandoned fortress ahead. Swooey yells, different route, but we are headed the exact same direction. If we make it, we are safe. Then, you are coming down the mountain with us, I ask. If she thinks they won't ambush us later. She complains about her dowry, but I yell, Swa, focus. Wolves, she yells, okay, husband. These strong dogs hit 40 kilometers per hour, and they have run like this for 2 hours, without even breaking a sweat. Honestly, mind-blowing, right? Back home, huskies were lazy. Potatoes eating treats and destroying furniture. But here, war machines, built for combat. Yet, 30 wolves won't tire out. We need shelter fast. The ruined fortress looms. Almost there, but we slowed down. Stopped completely. 5 wolves block our path. An ambush. Squad is waiting to slow us down while the massive main pack catches up from behind. These beasts have military minds. Blockade, then pursuit. Brutal pincer. Seriously, who taught them this strategy? Did they read Sun Tzu? Light me up. I toss the glowing fire starter straight to Tien Din. She knows exactly what to do. She blows on it, sparking the fire. The quick fuse, boom, a Volf's head explodes instantly. Keep moving, do not stop. Our dogs charge straight through the other 4 beasts without hesitation, clinging onto 4 different dogs, biting deep and clawing. But those incredibly brave, stubborn dogs just kept running, teeth sinking into their sides, blood spraying everywhere. They kept pulling that sled forward without slowing down. Sua's eyes welled up watching her babies get torn apart. But stopping meant certain death for everyone. Bang. One Volf drops. Bang. Another shot rings. A third fell. Bang. I was completely pure soldier mode. Moving targets. Close range, massive beasts, hard to miss. But one wrong bullet hitting a dog instead of a Volf would slow us down and seal our doom. Every single shot was life or death for our team. I nailed every Volf, missed every dog. My past life military training was finally paying off in the craziest way possible. Imagined, the massive fortress gates appeared. Shut tight, ram it. 9 dogs slammed into that wood like a furry, unstoppable battering ram. The gate exploded inward. We crashed right into the courtyard. I leapt off the sled before it even stopped, because 30 wolves were right behind, ready to swarm through that shattered gate. And honestly, we needed a miracle plan. In the next 3 seconds, welcome to this abandoned mountain fortress. Population 3 humans, 9 bleeding dogs, and pretty much 0 good options. I leapt off a moving sled going 40 kilometers per hour, sprinting straight to the heavy gates, slammed them shut, and jammed a wooden bar through the handles 1 second before. Imagine 30 wolves slamming into the gates. Just 1 second. I collapsed onto the floor, like a deflated balloon. Suihua and Tien Zen rushed right over. Husband, are you okay? Suihua grabbed my arm while Tien Zen kept quiet, staring at me with those deeply worried eyes. I am fine. I waved them off, trying to act tough even though my legs felt like complete jelly. The wolves howled outside, slamming against the doors, then got smart, searching for other entryways. But that tall fence was thick and sturdy. They were not getting through easily. We had time, so I scoped out our new home. This fortress was a joke, more like a tiny yard built against a hillside, maybe 100 square meters, 2 watchtowers with rotting arrows still stuck inside. A storage shed sat nearby with locked chests. Everything was decaying and abandoned. Whoever lived here had cleared out long ago. The yard sat on a ridge above a deep valley, the exact valley I wanted to scout as a potential new village site. Down there sat the active bandit camp, wild beasts, and supposedly farmable land. We ended up on a brand new path that Suihua's tribe avoided. Apparently, this route holds something quite terrifying, she warned. Several of her tribe's strongest men went down this path and never came back. Just perfect. Love that for us. What kind of terror? Nobody really knows yet. They never returned to tell the tale. Perfect. We started searching the place. Found military-grade spears. Spears long, sharp, and definitely not cheap gear, stolen from soldiers. Then Tien suddenly let out a scream. We sprinted over. A frozen corpse lay on the ground, preserved by the cold. Still recognizable. Dead maybe a year. So, this place was not abandoned all that long ago. The sky was darkening fast. No leaving with hungry wolves lurking outside anyway. Might as well stay. Spend the night. Find food. I ordered. Everyone scattered. Suihua did something incredible. Watch this, she told Husey, the dog, to sniff for food. This absolute genius of a Malamute put his snout down, tracked the area, and began barking at a very specific spot. Right there in the ground, a hidden trapdoor. A cellar. My heart raced. Bandit cellars from this lawless era could hold amazing treasures or absolute nightmares. We lit our torches and headed down. Sweet potatoes and radishes everywhere. Total jackpot. Then we saw them. Massive ceramic jars. Tian Din went pale. She backed away, shaking with pure fear. See, bandits here often eat humans, especially women and young children. Because their flesh is tender, they pickle them inside massive jars just like these ones, preserved for a year. Absolutely horrifying stories. I volunteered to check, because apparently, handling cannibal sellers is my job now. Both of the women retreated instantly. I stood right before the jar. Standing there, I took a deep breath. If this was human flesh, I would vomit up everything from my 2 lifetimes. I yanked the heavy lid off. A sour stench hit. Are you ready? I looked. Just pickled cabbage. Sauerkraut. These guys actually knew how to cook. The relief down there was incredibly intense. Tian Din nearly fainted from emotional whiplash. Suiha let out a massive sigh of relief. She had held for a minute. We had sauerkraut, potatoes, radishes. We had food inside a fortified stronghold, with solid walls, 9 guard dogs outside, and 2 loaded fire guns. For the first time in 3 days, I felt actually optimistic. Sure, 30 revenge wolves waited outside, plus, with a terrifying creature ahead, frozen corpses, and an active bandit camp, located down below in the valley. Oh, and get this, I somehow got engaged to a tribal warrior woman, while my pregnant wife waited at home. But hey, we had sauerkraut now. You celebrate every tiny win. That sauerkraut was pretty perfect. Cold mountain temperatures kept everything preserved way better than anything down at sea level. And Suiwa's grandfather, bless that matchmaking old guy, packed up the sled with enough meat for a massive wedding feast. Pork, lamb, rabbit, wild chicken, and fish. 5 whole types of meat. The chief really went all out with his dowry plan. Wait, fish? You might be wondering how that is possible. Mountain, she explained, there is a big, shallow river upstream from where I had only ever seen a tiny creek. Her tribe fishes there during winter when it is frozen. But summer makes it pretty dangerous. The surrounding soil turns into a swamp that literally swallows people. Classic quicksand scenario, but there is an entire river system up here I never even knew about. Filed that away for future village development plans. We built a warm campfire. 3 humans, 9 dogs gathered around the heat. Husey, our giant Malamute, took the outermost position, sharp eyes scanning, ears rotating, like little radar dishes. With 9 highly trained guard dogs on duty, we could actually relax for once. That fish tasted incredible. No seasoning, no spices, absolutely nothing. Just fresh fish over fire. After 3 days of near starvation, it tasted like heaven's own personal recipe. I wanted to keep eating, but I forced myself to stop. When half full, survival rule, never stuff yourself in dangerous territory. A full stomach means pretty slow reactions. A lesson from my outdoor survival days that has saved my life more times than I can even count. Wolves were still howling outside. Lovely dinner music. We will sleep together in one room tonight, I told them. Find a defensible spot. If those wolves breach the walls, we will need somewhere to fall back. 2. Both girls' faces turned bright red simultaneously. That is not what I meant. Safety. There are wolves out there. I gave up. No use explaining. Think what you want. We secured the storage room near the watchtower. If things went south, I could climb up. Wolves can't climb ladders. Hopefully, probably. Inside the dark room sat a massive locked chest. We ignored it initially because food came first. Now we were full. Curiosity took hold. So I kicked the lock. It didn't budge. The wood was rotten, but that lock was stubborn. Move, husband, Swa said. She grabbed her spear and slammed the lock with the blunt end. Boom. Shattered. This woman has crazy strength and 0 patience. I love it, platonically. You won't believe what was inside. Row after row of metal spheres, each with a fuse coated in oil. To protect them, dozens of them, stacked neatly. Grenades, actual military black powder bombs, an entire crate of them. What are these? Swa asked, holding the torch close. Get back, Tian Din, and I screamed. I lunged forward, grabbed the blazing torch, slipped, and tackled Swa down to the dirt. The flame went out. I was lying right on top of her in total silence. Husband, she whispered, does it have to be right now? I jumped up so fast I nearly hit the ceiling. Heart pounding, From the near blast, obviously. Not. The other thing. Sorry, accident. But I'm yours anyway, she smiled. Accident. Or not, it doesn't matter. She was blushing like a schoolgirl in the firelight. Then Tyan did ruin the moment. Swah, those are actual hand grenades. If a single spark had landed in that chest, we would all be gone. Nothing left of us to even identify. They are weapons of mass destruction. Throw one into a crowd and everyone within 10. One step means death. No survivors. Aha. Finally realized how close she came to blowing us all into tiny confetti. Her face flushed from soft pink to terrified pale white in a split second. Tyan looked at me. You recognize these fungi, seen them before? I wiped the sweat off my forehead. I had been wondering how far this world's weapons technology had advanced. Fire guns exist, so logically sealed gunpowder bombs should too. And here they were, all preserved. Fuses ready, working. Military-grade explosives left behind by bandits who likely stole them from an army supply line. My own crude bombs. Back home, basically wheat firecrackers. Compared to these were the real deal. I stood up, smiling dangerously, spreading across my face. 30 wolves. Outside, but we have grenades. Inside, ladies. I think tomorrow morning our Volve problem solves itself. Suihua and Tyan exchanged a look that said, this guy is terrifying, but we're both. Honestly, who wouldn't be? The wolves howled outside, completely unaware that the prey they had chased all day was now sitting on enough gunpowder to turn their entire pack into a red mist. Sleep tight, puppies. Tomorrow is going to be loud. Morning came. Hootsie the Malamute woke up first, like a good leader should. Then he woke up the lazy husky sleeping next to him. The husky whined, dude, it is dark. But one cold glare shut him up. Instantly. Dog hierarchy is brutal and efficient. I loaded everything onto our sled. The entire chest of grenades. Both. Fire guns, supplies, weapons. Total. Weight easily over 400 pounds plus 3. Humans. Can they pull all this? I asked. Suihua scoffed. They once pulled 5 Nahans up the mountain. What is a Nahan? A 200-pound fat man. 5 of them, all at once. Over half a ton. I stared at those 9 dogs with total respect. Back in my old life, these breeds just destroyed couches and chase tails. But in this life, they are literally furry trucks. Quick ammo check. I had 5 shots. Ton. Din had 10 bullets and 6 grenades remaining. Against 30 savage wolves. Horrible math. But we had the surprise factor. Ready? Both women nodded. I flung open the gates and jumped on the sled. Go. Hootsie launched forward like a furry missile. Within seconds, wolves erupted from everywhere. 15, 20, 30 surrounding us. On every side. They had been waiting all night in the freezing cold, hungry and furious. Tundin and I went back with guns blazing. She aimed for distant targets. Her aim was pretty rough, but far away wolves made massive targets. I took the close-range targets, picking off any wolf. Getting close to the dogs. Couldn't risk hitting one of our own. Bang, bang, bang. We broke right through their ring. Flying downhill at full speed, the dogs sprinted hard, tongues out, legs blurring. The wolves regrouped behind us in a wide fen shape and gave chase. These beasts just do not quit. Why won't they stop? They can't catch us, Tundin asked. Suiha's face went grim. Because up ahead is the frozen river. The dogs can't run fast. Oh no. Dog paws on ice means 0 traction. You know they planned this. Those beasts weren't trying to catch us now. They were herding us toward terrible terrain, where we would slow down. Wolves have tactics. Suiha, slow them down. What? Trust me and slow the dogs, she commanded. Hootsie slowed down. The wolves quickly closed the distance, getting closer and closer. Bunching tight, I lit the first grenade and threw it straight into the pack. 2 seconds passed as wolves ran over. 4 seconds, more wolves passed. Absolute silence. A dud. My stomach sank. Cold sweat. Everywhere. Those wolves were right behind us. Now. Move. Go. Go. But we had already hit the frozen river, whose paws slipped on the ice, sliding hard. Speed plummeted. The pack was closing in fast. Panic, think, okay, I grabbed another grenade, lit it, threw it, then a second, third, and fourth. Come on, you stupid weapons. If you're duds, I swear, boom, the third one exploded. Right in the middle of the pack, then. The second went off, then the fourth. 3 simultaneous blasts. Wolves went flying. Not jumping, literally flying. Limbs ripped from bodies, skulls shattered to fragments, fur became confetti. And trust me, these weren't normal. They were packed with iron shards and nails that shredded everything within 10 steps. The blast wave hit our sled. We all ducked flat inside. The dogs, those brave and fearless beasts that hadn't flinched at 30 wolves, heard the blasts and immediately went full pancake on the ice, legs splayed, bellies down, whimpering. Apparently, explosions are where dog courage draws the line. The smoke cleared, blood and hearts everywhere on the white snow. Wolves that survived were missing legs. Those that still had legs were running away so fast they would never stop. The surviving wolves had full mental breakdowns, twitching, spinning, running in random directions. I stood up slowly, scanning the carnage. We are safe, I said, finally letting myself breathe. The valve problem was solved permanently. No pack recovers. From this, the survivors would spread the word. Don't go near humans with those thunderballs. I was just about to celebrate when, get this, noticed something wrong. The dogs had vanished from the sled's front. They had all scrambled behind me. Hootsie was pressing against my legs, ears flat, tail down. Dogs never run from explosions. They endure them. No, they only run from something worse. Fangji. Tianxion's voice was trembling. Look ahead. I spun around and whatever was standing right there on that frozen river was terrifying enough to make 9 war dogs hide behind a human. Now what? I just used up my grenades, leaving only 5 bullets. What could be worse than 30 wolves? This mountain, this cursed mountain. Every time I think we are safe, this nightmare of a mountain says, not today. Here is the next boss. A dark figure stood upright on the frozen river, waving a massive arm at us, like some twisted human. Close your eyes. It is the mountain ghost. Suihua slammed her face into the sled. Tianzhen followed her instantly. Both women went full ostrich mode. Honestly, can you blame them? The local legend says this creature is called the mountain ghost, a massive black bear that walks upright, mimicking human actions to hypnotize its prey before tearing their entire throat out. Whole generations of the Kishi tribe have died facing this monster. It is their absolute ultimate boogeyman. Even the dogs were shaking like leaves, barking but terrified. Then, Suihua started her tragic death monologue, claiming we are completely finished. Grandpa, she is ready to join the ancestors. And seriously, I cannot make this up. But she actually kept on going. She never even shared a bed with her husband and does not know what that feels like. She wanted kids. She wanted to spank them, never knowing what that feels like. Now, facing down this supernatural bear monster, I honestly almost burst out laughing. This woman's dying regret is never raising her kids. She never had great priorities. But Suihua, relax. You will have kids. Husband, I am so sorry. I should not have come here. Our tribe avoids this place. Mountain ghost. When I watched the beast waddling toward us, upright posture, swinging its arms eerily. Human movements. Honestly, that uncanny valley effect was pretty damn real. If I belonged here, I would be terrified too. But I am not from this world. Come from a world with zoos and the internet, so I know exactly what it is. Look at this. A bear standing on its hind legs, acting dramatic. Mountain ghost, please. Nothing survived some good firepower. I lit the fuse. Boom. The ghost dropped to all fours. No more pretending. No more supernatural mystique. Just a wounded beast screaming in absolute pain on ice. Ice. What ghost even screams like that? Who would it charge? Suihua peeked out, seeing the legendary demon rolling around and crying. Something clicked in her mind right then. Generations of tribal fear and centuries of legend were completely blown away by one gunshot. Go, Ozzy. The dogs were still terrified, but they are loyal. If master commands, we charge. Even with shaking legs, all 9 hounds launched forward. I wanted this bear pelt intact. Damaged skin is worthless, so I planned to get close to finish it cleanly, but I underestimated this Sneaky beast. But as we got close, it jumped up, grabbing Hui by the neck. It was just playing dead. Tian Din and I fired together. Point blank. One bullet hit the neck, one pierced the eye. At this close range, nothing survives to direct shots. The bear collapsed. Suddenly, Sui Hua ran out. Sled screeching, I went to check the bear. Definitely dead. A massive black bear. 1.7 meters, pretty small compared to the brown one I hunted, but far more devious, a total con artist in fur. It stood right up like a human, waved hello, played dead, then went for the kill. No wonder the Kishi tribe was absolutely terrified. With only basic, cold weapons, fighting this smart beast in swamp terrain, you would lose every single time. But I had guns, and they ignore mind games. How is he? Suiha quickly checked him over. He is fine. Bite marks, but nothing deep. No tearing, thank goodness. If I had actually gotten the lead dog killed, Suiha would have murdered me, husband or not. I am sorry. Totally my fault. I underestimated it. Suiha shook her head in silence. With bright eyes, do not apologize. This terrifying man-bear has slain so many of our clansmen over generations. You just destroyed our tribe's biggest terror. You defeated the tiger, the brown bear, and this man-bear. You are the greatest hero in key history. Stop calling me a hero, but she promises she will tell everyone about her husband's legendary glory. Every villager will know your name. Just great. Now I am officially a tribal celebrity among mountain natives. Add to my resume. Tiger Slayer, Beast Killer, and Ghost Debunker, involuntary fame. Anyway, we loaded the heavy bear onto our heavily overloaded wooden sled. 9 dogs dragging 3 humans, weapons, grenades, survival supplies, and that bear. Across the icy, frozen landscape, through hostile territory, past the bandit fortress, down in the valley, over the frozen swamp and dense forest. Finally, we reached the incredibly dense forest near the first peak. The trees I recognized, the path I knew well. We are almost home, I said. 3 days now. Gone for 3 days. Survived an avalanche, vicious wolves, a blizzard, a cliff diving, fiancé, live grenades, and a ghost bear. Walked away with 9 dogs, a sled, plus military-grade explosives, 1 dead black bear, a tribal engagement, and probably some fresh gray hairs. Shia must be absolutely worried sick. The patrol squad probably thinks I am dead. The village is probably in total chaos, but I'm alive with more weapons, more wild beasts, and more problems than when I first left. Just another week on Dragon Mountain. But while I was busy fighting off wolves, bears, and collecting an unwanted fiancé up on the peak, my family back home was going through literal hell. Wait until you hear what happened next. Honestly, it made me far angrier than anything on that mountain. Poor Shia spent a whole day staring at Jade Dragon Mountain from the yard, face pale as paper, Meow Meow clinging to her. Even Benben was totally depressed, lying around with zero energy, like he knew something was terribly wrong. She dreamed about me every single night. In every dream, I walked through the door, calling her my wife in that warm voice. Then she would wake up and the heavy door was still closed. The avalanche news spread incredibly fast. 10 people went up, 10 came back down except me. The village sent search parties. Nothing was found. No body, no tracks, no signs. Everyone started assuming the worst, but watch this now. Vultures finally showed up. My family, and I use that word with absolute sarcasm, smelled fresh blood in the water. Shulong, my useless, deadbeat father, Shu Tian, and my horrible mother. We arrived at my house. First, the woman who called me an unfilial son was right there to grab my inheritance. The brother I literally put an axe to was here to steal my gear. The father who never did a single useful thing in his life was here to make money off my death. Then Then her family arrived. Grandma Wang, Zopen, Uncle Jiao Cheng, and her alcoholic father Ho Yoji. The woman who treated Xiao Sha like dirt her entire childhood stepped into my yard. She asked if Xiao's dear grandma heard right. Boyfriend died. Is that true, boyfriend? She literally called me a boyfriend. Not husband, not son-in-law, just boyfriend. Treating our marriage like some casual fling. Then my mother chimed in, saying they only came for her disobedient second son. the son who beat his family members and cursed his mother. This is karma. Then they both began targeting my wife, demanding she hand over all the hunting goods, claiming everything belonged to the Chu family. But grandma argued Xiao Shuo should inherit, so she can give it to them, her real family, two greedy old women, fighting over a dead man's wallet. Insane. My pregnant wife stood there crying helplessly. 6 intruders, with 4 men acting like bodyguards, 2 vile women attacking 1 young woman and her 5-year-old daughter. Yet Xiao Shuo stood her ground. Her voice trembled, but she was firm. My husband is alive. 10 people survived. Not 1 died. He is coming back. This is our house, so get out. They just laughed, calling her delusional. Then they started dividing my property, right in front of her. Meanwhile, most village men were still up the mountain, searching for me. Only the elderly and children remained, unable to do anything against 6 ruthless adults. They just watched. But one clever villager had a brilliant idea and ran to Peach Village. They went straight to Jiu Yang, the elder whose 2 sons I killed previously, my ultimate sworn enemy. But get this, that old fox gathered every single youth in Peach Village. The entire patrol picked up their heavy spears, and Guang stormed directly over to my house. He kicked the gate wide open and roared to shut up their mouths because Chu Feng is not dead and his property has absolutely nothing to do with these greedy people. Just get out. This man I once considered my enemy defended my helpless wife when nobody else would. I saved him from a predator, and he saved my family from these vultures. Isn't it crazy how life actually works? I only pieced this together from Guang. Afterward, hearing this made my blood boil with rage. Yes, extreme rage. After Guang burst in with his loyal crew, those evil grandmas did not even flinch. They immediately tried to pull the family card. Are you a Chu? No. Are you a Zhou? No. So this entire is strictly family business. Mind your own. And Guang, despite being pretty tough, got stuck. He knew they were clear scum, but legally, they are actual blood relatives. Guang was just an outsider from some other village. Even a judge would avoid this giant mess. He watched Xia Shuo, praying she would fight back, ask for help, just say a word to throw all these bastards out. But my wife looked up with totally lifeless eyes and said if her husband is really gone, none of this matters. So let them take it all. My heart broke into pieces hearing that later. She was not just abandoning her things, she surrendered her life. Without me, there was no point in fighting. The food, the winter supplies, the meat I hunted, meant nothing without the hunter. Instantly, both greedy families swarmed the shed like starving locusts. Everything I worked so hard for, wild chicken, boar meat, and crayfish, they snatched with their greedy hands. Then they actually started brawling among themselves over a single wild chicken, ripping it back and forth like toddlers over a toy. My deadbeat father was literally fighting Zijiao's drunk dad in a pathetic tug of war. Peak dysfunction. They eventually agreed to split it 50-50. My mother grabbed half, loudly declaring, "We are leaving half for our daughter-in-law." She stood right there watching, making absolutely sure Zijiao's family didn't steal a single bite more. Grandma Wan went full villain, saying all this comes back to Stream Village with us. Since Zijiao's husband is dead, she must return home, and we will keep all her stuff, just like a bank that never, ever returns a single penny. Even Guang's men were taking, but without Zijiao's direct permission. But look at her. Zizi just stood there looking completely hollow, holding Yao Mei's hand. Bimbin barked the entire time. Nobody cared. Hua hua. The snow leopard stayed hidden on the roof. If they spotted her, they would sell her off too. Grandma Wang marched over to Zizi for one final insult. Come back to the village. Zizi just said absolutely nothing. What, you think you survive alone out here, a widow? You will starve. She did not actually want Z. She just wanted the crowd to hear that she chose to stay, leaving them everything guilt-free. Fine, we are leaving. Everyone saw she refused to come. These supplies are ours now. The Zhao brothers hoisted the stolen bags onto their shoulders, grinning like they had won the lottery. Heads down, they practically skipped toward the gate. Zhao Yuji, their drunk father, stumbled face first right into somebody's stomach. Out of my way, he snapped without looking Up. Then his head slowly lifted. The bag of my meat slipped from his grip, hitting the snow because he was staring right into my face. I held an axe. I was definitely not smiling. Behind me, 9 massive sled dogs, a dead black bear on a sled, Tianjin, and a massive tribal hunter. Warrior woman mode. 3 days on a mountain. Fought off wolves, survived an avalanche. Killed a ghost bear, grabbed military explosives, and scored an accidental fiancé. Then I came home to find my greedy in-laws robbing my home while my pregnant wife sobbed. You are taking my things, I whispered. That quiet voice is always scarier than the yelling. Zhao Yoji knew it. His legs began shaking so hard he looked like he was dancing. Every person in that yard, both families, Guang's crew, the villagers, even the dogs, turned to look at me. Zijiao's face drained from gray to stark white, a color I do not think exists. She opened her mouth, but nothing came. Meow meow. Broke the silence. Daddy's home. Yeah. Baby girl, daddy's back. And this daddy brought an axe. Zhao Yuji's face was sweating like a broken faucet. Insane, right? Zhao Yuchang hid behind his mother so fast he basically teleported. Chulong saw me and screamed ghost like we were in some horror movie. I stood there, holding my axe, covered in dried blood, wolf skin draped over my shoulders. 9 massive dogs growling behind me. I definitely looked like some ghost, a very angry ghost with weapons. I asked you a question. Why are you stealing my stuff? Notice I said stealing, not taking. You see that legal distinction? Taking has wiggle room. Stealing means I can chop you down right here and every witness will testify you absolutely deserved it. Zhao Yoji, my father-in-law, the man who is supposed to rank above me in forgetting status, he dropped to his knees, begging instantly, please, son-in-law, listen, we weren't stealing, we thought you were dead. We only came to help. We were gonna use this food to host a memorial for you. Hearing this, the crowd actually laughed out loud. Beautiful excuse. Really? Seriously, a big misunderstanding. His smile was so fake, almost like it was painted on. Chulong saw him kneeling and thought it was smart. He dropped right next to him. Yes, Zhao Yushi added. We were only helping. I smiled, not a nice smile at all. Before I could act, Sui Hua had seen quite enough, stepping forward and kicked them both. Talk about satisfying. Both grown men flew backward and collapsed. Could not stand. Sui Hua spent her years climbing steep mountains and wrestling dogs. Her whole life, one blow from her hits like a truck. Shameless. You thought he was dead, so you targeted Rose's family. You call yourselves relatives. I will kill both of you. She grabbed my axe and charged at them. Tiandin had to physically hold her back. When Tiandin stepped into view, we all lost our minds. The famous Tian family heiress stood in my yard, defending my honor. Chuang, who recently moved here and knew exactly how influential the Tian family was, turned pale as snow. You cannot kill people off the mountain, Tiandin told Sui Hua. But they deserve it. You still cannot. Sui Hua relented, putting down the heavy axe and thrashed them with her bare fists instead. Zhao Yushi and Chulong curled up on the ground, taking punches from a girl twice their own strength. Nobody helped them. Even their relatives just stood there, squeezing their eyes shut, acting invisible. Stop it, it hurts. Zhao Yoshi screamed. He looked toward Xiaosha. I am your father. Are you just going to watch? Xiaosha was not even looking. She just staring right at me, staring like she needed to make absolutely sure I was real. She slowly stepped up, reaching her trembling hand to touch my face. Xiaosha, I'm home. 3 seconds of silence. You're not dead. No crying, no movement. Quietly, just 3 soft words, carrying 2 days of pure terror, grief, and loneliness. I made it. We can actually keep living our lives. She smiled. A beautiful, exhausted smile. The most relieved look ever. Then, she completely transformed. My gentle, quiet wife walked straight up to Grandma Wang's open and slapped her, so hard the sound echoed off mountains. Dead silence. Total, utter shock. A granddaughter striking her grandmother. In ancient China, that is crazy. Like slapping the Pope. Savage move. That is for cursing my husband. She declared. Next was Zhao Xia. Same treatment. Zhao's face swelled up instantly. That is for trying to steal from us. You are crazy. I am your grandmother. And your mother-in-law, even Sui Hua, stopped her own fight to stare. Because in her tribe, elders are respected. She looked at Xiaosha with absolute disbelief, maybe even a little fear. Xiaosha's voice went ice cold. Stop pretending we are family. My husband severed all ties with you guys. We are absolutely nothing to each other. No grandmother, no mother-in-law. That was decided long ago. So do not you dare play the elder card ever again. Leave. Put down every single one of our things. Get out. If you think this is stealing, which it totally is, then even if we chop you to pieces, no local court will ever convict us. That is my wife. Truly incredible. Just weeks ago, she was too shy to face a rude apprentice. Now, slapping elders, threatening them. She looked back at me with absolute fire in her eyes, and I just stared back with pure, overwhelming love. Behind us, 9 dogs barked happily. Up on the roof, Huahua the snow leopard purred. Welcome home, Chufang. Your wife held down the fort just fine. We were the first to cheer. The whole crowd erupted. Everyone had been dying to see those awful families get what they deserved, but couldn't interfere in family affairs. Now, Xiaosha dropped the family-severing dungeon bomb, cutting ties. But get this, she wasn't done. Chufang's mother, that cunning witch, had one card left, arguing they couldn't just split the family. Chufang had to agree, with the village elder acting as witness. Without that, Xiaosha just assaulted her mother-in-law, plus her older son was a government officer who would have them arrested. The crowd froze. She had been planning this trap all along. Even if they wanted to sever ties, Xiaosha hitting her was still a massive crime. Assaulting a husband's mother in ancient China, that meant serious jail time. Then from outside the gate, Zhu Dahai's voice boomed through the yard. Chufang, do you want to cut ties with the Chu family? Chufang replied that he already told them. He wanted nothing to do with them. Good. The elder said, last time had no witness. This time, he witnessed before heaven and earth. Chufang was now permanently separated from Chu Jianwei and Chu Long. No party could harass the other. Does anyone? Object? No, Chufang answered instantly. His mother ground her teeth. She couldn't refuse since he agreed before 100 witnesses. If she protested, she would look like the desperate one clinging to her unwanted son. Her precious family pride would be completely destroyed. So, she swallowed her pride. Dudahai declared, no family ties meant no family protection anymore. They could handle this themselves. Chufang looked at Xiaosha, giving her a tiny nod. She stepped forward and slapped his mother. Another smack. The third slap lands. The woman called me karma and tried to rob my pregnant wife. Got her pride completely shattered. One brutal palm print at a time. My mother could not retaliate or complain, nor could she call Chu Long, because if she did, I would report them for home invasion robbery. Chu Long would lose his job. Then they would all be exiled. In this era, exile is a death sentence. She knelt next to Zhao Yoji and Chuang, 3 people kneeling in my yard. But check this out. Zizi immediately turns to Grandma Wang. The old woman screams, you cannot hit me. I am your grandmother. We have not officially separated yet. The crowd whispers. She was technically right. Zhao Yoji had not agreed to cut ties yet. Fine, I say from behind. We will just report the Zhao family for robbery instead. Zhao Yoji panics, screaming not to call the officials, asking why we spared the Chu family instead. Gu Yang laughs from the sidelines. That is because Mother Chu was smart enough to kneel. Your mother seems to think she is above that. Zhao Yoji spins around, pleading with her to agree to the separation. Zhao Yachin quickly adds. Grandma Wang's face twists in anger. She refuses to separate, fearing she will get hit. Zizi asks her father coldly if he agrees to sever ties. Yes or no? He immediately screams yes, absolutely yes, begging us not to report them. He makes it official. Zhao Yoji, Zizhao's biological father, is permanently cut from her life. And check out this next part. No more grandmother, uncle, or deadbeat dad. Grandma Wang slaps her own son, calling him a coward for folding so easily under pressure. Before she even finished yelling, Zizi is already right in front of her. Smack, another slap. Lands, and two more follow for good measure. The old woman cannot fight back, surrounded by a crowd ready to dogpile her. Even if she tried, she was too old, weak, and hopelessly outnumbered. She just stood there, taking a pretty heavy beating from the granddaughter she abused for 20 years. Xiaoxiao stepped back, smoothed her clothes, and spoke with the absolute authority of someone who just burned every single bridge and felt lighter for it. Get out of my house right now. I will ignore today ever happened, but if any of you dare return, every single one of you is going to prison. 6 people stumbled out of my yard, beaten and humiliated, stripped of their stolen goods, and forever cut off from the 2 people they had leeched off for years. I stood near the gate watching them walk away. Xiaoxiao walked over and stood beside me. My once shy and quiet wife had just slapped 2 old women, threatened 6 grown adults with jail, legally disowned her entire family, establishing absolute dominance over everyone. I talk about waking a sleeping dragon because she finally woke up. Behind us, Suha whispered too. Tian Xian, I like her. Tian Xian nodded. Me too. Honestly, make that 3 of us. Both families scrambled away without looking back. They did not take a single piece of stolen food, leaving everything right where they found it. They came to rob a dead man's. Imagine that, losing your own family, bonds, their pride, and several layers of facial skin, the instant everyone left. Xiaoxiao finally let herself break down. She threw her arms around me and held on tightly as if I might float away if she let go. I am back. While I am here, nobody touches you ever. I know. I am just so glad you are alive. My heart melted into a warm puddle. Guang quietly gathered his men and left. No fanfare, no demands for payback. He just did the right thing and quietly walked away. 2 villages that once completely hated each other now were chatting like old neighbors. On the way home, crisis changes people. Tianzhen had to leave too. Her grandfather's vital medicine was in her bag, and time was critical. She looked at me with an intense expression I chose not to analyze. If your words are true, we'll meet again, she told me. Then she vanished before I could even understand her. Women in every era are riddles. Wang Wei and Sunken were waiting there. Wang Wei almost cried, sobbing, we thought we'd never see you. Sunken kicked him. Shut up, we all knew he'd make it. They searched to straight days. Loyal brothers. Now check this out. Zizi and Suihua stood staring in the yard. Little Binbin, now knee-high, was barking wildly at Hughesy the Malamute. From behind my trembling legs, Hughesy looked down at the tiny pup, with nothing but pure contempt, like a giant laughing at a tiny puppy. 9 giant sled dogs had nowhere to go. Imagine the chaos. They stayed at my small cottage, with 9 giant dogs, a massive snow leopard up top, a puppy, my wife, my daughter, and 1 terrifying mountain warrior woman. Zizi wiped her tears, acting the hostess. We've never had guests before. Come inside. I'll cook. Meow meow saw the massive dogs and hid right behind me. Fair reaction for a 5-year-old. I pulled Suihua aside, exhaling. Look closely at my family. I have a loving wife, a daughter, and a baby on the way. I'm not saying you aren't incredible. You are. But I can't add anyone. Understand? She nodded. She understood. Then she grabbed a 10-pound fish off the sled and marched into the kitchen, asking sister what she was cooking. She offered me to help. She just moved right in, ignoring my words. Maybe she didn't hear me, or maybe she chose to ignore me completely. Shaking my head, I left for Du Dahai's house. This was a problem for future Chu Fan. Du had warm dinner and wine waiting. The man knew I'd show up. Unbelievable that you survived, he said, pouring drinks. I said first. Peak avalanche wasn't that bad, we barely got buried. He scoffed, saying he'd been on that mountain 30 years. Those avalanche have claimed countless lives before. Your entire squad surviving is a complete miracle. Just lucky, I guess. What did you want to tell me? His eyes gleamed. Good news. When the capital heard you were dead, they actually gave you a promotion. They promoted a dead man to mountain officer. You command 20 men now. Monthly salary is 500 coins plus 10 stones of grain. Since you are alive now, they cannot exactly take it back. I died and got a raise. Most people get a funeral, but talk about a bizarre promotion. The imperial bureaucracy is truly something else. I have 20 men under my command now, double the original 10. If I play my cards right, I can fill those spots with trustworthy people, building a real force. Changing the subject, I said. I found a perfect spot for our village if we ever need to run away. Dudahai's eyebrows instantly shot up. He asked if I was actually serious about that. Dead serious, no pun intended. I grabbed a piece of pigskin since we're too poor for real paper and borrowed his fancy calligraphy brush that he had never actually used to write with. You can write? He asked suspiciously. I started drawing. My handwriting was absolutely atrocious. The 3 characters for the planning document looked like a drunk spider crawled through ink. Dudahai laughed out loud, but wait until he reads the actual content. The laughter died completely. His face went through phases: amusement, curiosity, shock, and then something that looked like complete terror or hope. Honestly, I couldn't tell. He looked up at me as if he was seeing me for the very first time. Yeah, old man, the local idiot. Mountain Ranger just handed you this. Complete village relocation and defense blueprints, complete with terrain analysis, food maps, and population logistics, plus emergency plans. Surprise. Old man Dudahai watched me draw everything. The map line by line, the mountains, valleys, secret paths, the bandit fortress, the river, and enemy territory. Everything I saw during my wild 3-day survival trip, drawn on pigskin in the absolute ugliest handwriting you have ever seen. We were talking details when Duke suddenly popped in. Dad, Liao Xiang is here. Before anyone could even move, Liao walked right in, like he owned the entire village. After all, a chief's home is basically open property for officials. Immediately, his eyes landed on that pigskin map. What is this? Dudahai's face went pale. I tensed up. The map showed potential escape routes, secrets we definitely did not want the officials seeing, but Liao picked it up and began examining it. His face completely shifted. Watch this. He went dead silent. A terrain map with operational planning. Who wrote this? The ink was still fresh. He stared right at me. Did you write this? Can you actually read military maps? For about 3 seconds, I saw a flash of real suspicion cross his face. A simple village farmer who can draft tactical maps, that screams enemy spy. An old family tradition, I said calmly. My ancestors were highly educated people. Both my brother Chulong and I can read and write. He had already checked my background. It was basic government protocol. Chulong was officially on the payroll as a constable with recorded literacy, so my reading skills weren't impossible, just highly surprising. The tension broke. That actually terrified me. He suspected I was a secret DS spy. Honestly, you wound me deeply. Relax, it's a joke. So, what is this map for? Time to pivot. The map didn't mention any village evacuation. Thank goodness we hadn't reached that point. Instead, I pitched him a totally different and wilder story. During the avalanche, I stumbled onto the secret path Dia soldiers used to invade our borders, along with a hidden bandit stronghold. If we can completely wipe those outlaws out and occupy their base, we can totally shut down any invasion into Diane. Even better, our own army can use this exact route to launch a surprise attack on D. I was baiting him with the most legendary promotion bait in bureaucratic history. Liao's own eyes popped. You can literally see the gears, dreams of power forming in his mind. If he proposed this secret route to flank and trap the enemy forces, his military career would absolutely skyrocket. A true war hero and strategic genius, all thanks to his favorite mountain ranger. He stammered. That is incredibly brilliant. What do you need? Gunpowder and fire guns. But his excitement deflated. Fire weapons require higher clearance. He is only a deputy, so he cannot distribute military gear alone. The corrupt magistrate has to sign off on it, and that man is a totally greedy psychopath. To complicate it, he promised to submit the request while getting up, calling this matter too massive to ignore. Then, he casually dropped another huge piece of news. You are getting promoted as a mountain officer with 20 men under you. Command, I will keep it on the books. Chief Dudahai throws me a look right after Leia bolts out the door. He wanted to cancel my promotion. My promotion, they handed it to a supposedly dead man, but now I am back. It is messy paperwork, but I just made myself way too valuable. Now he wants to promote me. I grin. It is pretty funny, honestly. He came to demote me and left planning to arm me. Bureaucrats are untrustworthy. Never trust them. Xiaoang, plan ahead. Always do, chief, always do. By the way, I brought some incredibly valuable loot down from the mountain. I must hit town tomorrow to sell it. Can you protect Xiaoshuo while I am gone? Duda Hai slams his fist on the table. She's a jade dragon villager. Nobody will touch her while I still breathe. That is perfect. I have a dead black bear to sell, relationships to manage, and a secret black market to find, plus around 17 problems to solve before another disaster inevitably hits. But tonight I go home. I am heading home to eat sweet fish cooked by my wife and a fierce warrior woman. They both think they own the place. House. Tell me that is not terrifying. It beats any fierce mountain beast. The new year is only 4 days away now. War is fully paused. Streets crowded. It is amazing what happens when nobody is trying to murder each other. For 5 minutes, Wang Wei-sun and I roll right in with our covered cart. Next stop, the sketchy black market. Following Chief Duda Hai's directions, we head behind Spring Wine Restaurant, down a sketchy alley, straight into the slums. Every single town has its clean, bright side, and its pitch black underbelly. This was thieves and scammers run rampant. Gamblers, everyone armed, completely suspicious. Men with blades stared directly at us, like we owed them serious cash. Even the kids looked dangerous. Sixth building on our left, Wang Wei muttered. Checking directions, we stopped right before what was definitely not a normal shop. Just a plain house, open door, with an empty yard and a dead pimmin tree. Its dried fruit hung like sad ornaments. I stepped inside. A raspy voice from the shadows said brothel is next door. Not here for that. Gambling is also next door. Not here either. After a pause, an ancient man shuffled out of darkness, hunched back, with white eyebrows, so long they literally touched his chin, wearing a cotton jacket so old the stuffing was falling out. He looked like some homeless grandpa, but he wore cotton. In this era, cotton is expensive. This homeless grandpa had major money. Then what are you here, buying and selling? His cloudy eyes sharpened. Follow me. He led us inside. 300 meters, surprisingly huge, then shut the gate behind us. So smooth, incredibly practiced. Watch closely. What is under that cover? He nodded at our cart, but never touched it. Smart. In this shady black market, you never grab another's goods uninvited. I pulled the cover off, and get this. His eyes went crystal clear. A man. Bear, he muttered. You know your beasts. Old man. How much? Pristine fur. Wait, only to pause. Where are the other two? Kept them as gifts. That lowers the price significantly. Fine. 300 taels, non-negotiable. He blinked. That fast. You are interesting, kid. Call me whatever you like. My name is Kuyi, and since you accepted without haggling, you obviously want something. Spit it out. This old man was sharp as a hidden razor, as dull as a butter knife. I want to buy from you. My guy says you sell rare items nobody else can ever find. He pulled out a long pipe, taking a slow, dramatic puff. Praise won't work, but you aren't exactly wrong. I have almost everything. What do you want? Guns and grenades, I replied. He choked on his smoke so violently I honestly thought he would die. Right there. Kid, you are a villager, do you know what happens if you get caught with military gear? They will execute you. I put on my most pitiful look. Kui, I know, but we live right at the foot of Dragon Mountain. Bandits, refugees, they have already raided the village right next to ours. The county deputy appointed me as mountain officer, and he is trying to secure us weapons through proper channels, but that process takes forever. If those raiders hit our village first, we are completely dead. Getting executed later is much better than slaughtered today. Pure drama. Bait set. Now for the killer blow. Unless you do not actually have guns available. His pride flared up right on cue. How many do you need? 20 plus. Gunpowder. Give me grenades too. No. Grenades. Those are heavy military weapons. Only the fire guns. 200 taels. Wang Wei's eyes popped. 200? That is straight robbery, man. You're literally a shady black market dealer. And yet, you rip us off. Kui did not flinch. Take it or leave it. 200. I kept 200 from the bear sale. Here is 100 cash. Return after the new year. Deal. I say before my boys can argue further, but please hurry. If those bandits strike before delivery, the weapons won't matter. Relax. Raiders never strike during New Year celebrations. Come back the second day of the new year. We left, and Wang Wei grabbed my arm. Do you really trust that guy? What if he just takes our money and he vanishes? We lose 200 taels. But if he's legit, we get 20 firearms. Our own private arsenal. A real combat force. Old do vouch for him, so the odds are pretty decent. 200 taels for 20 guns. My business sales and most of my savings gone in one conversation. But if this works, 20 armed men under my command. Nobody. No bandits. No soldiers. No corrupt officials. And no vile relatives will ever threaten my family again. Happy New Year to me. May this be the year Chu Fong finally stops being everyone's useful tool and starts being their worst nightmare.